Joey Petrie in the 85 is your leader. Oh, this is going to be close. Oh! Oh, this is going to get interesting. Here we go. Boom! For hammering that travel trailer. He's not done yet. He's pulling his own trailer. Watch out, Riley's coming for your trailer. Let's hear it for these guys for putting on a great show.
Well, welcome into Tim's Corner Live. This is episode number 22. It's a little change of scenery for me, but it's still the same trio that we have, Tim Terry, Dylan Langell, and Denver Matchett. In Denver, we are coming off one hell of a night, or afternoon, I guess, at Speedway Miramichi. Get to talk to some of the guys that went to victory lane, and we're going to talk to Matt and Martin as well to preview this weekend. I'm excited for this show. How about you?
Tim, I'm pretty pumped up. That was, like you said, quite the show on Sunday. Dylan, you missed out, but I know you had other business as the track owner that you are. And again, I apologize that we interfered with your date, but at least we both had sellout crowds. But how about that trailer race? You know, I've never heard the crowd go as wild as what they went that day. When, like you saw in the video, Joey Petrie just sent it through Norm Robershaw's trailer. What a show. Unbelievable, Tim.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything. Barry is absolutely over the moon as well. I can tell you that was our best show on Tim's Corner TV outside of the Remax 250. So everybody enjoyed it. Want to thank everybody for watching that they did on Sunday. And you can go and check out the on-demand on timscorner.tv and maybe get us a little bit closer to that Remax 250 mark that we set last year for us. But Dylan, how was your weekend sitting at home watching your racetrack run?
I'd rather be at Speedway Miramichi, I'll tell you that much. The inside joke, folks, is that I bought a share into Nashville Super Speedway and Dover International Speedway Raceway. So, minority owner, we had a great weekend. I mean, Kyle Larson completely dominated that race, but I was multitasking watching the Miramichi event on timscorner.tv. And we had some company over here on Sunday, and they were playing board games. And I said, you got to stop for a second. You got to watch this trailer figure eight race. And they said, what the heck is that? So I had to explain to them what a figure eight race was and then add in the trailers on the back. My word, I was hoping we'd see some destruction. Norm wasn't camping in that sucker at the end of the race, right?
No. And Dylan, what was missed on the Tim's Corner broadcast, because it came out of nowhere, Dawson Cripps, who hauled his trailer in reverse, I might add. He called Barry up right before and said, I lost some of my gears. Can I weld a hitch onto the front of my car and drive it in reverse? And Barry said, absolutely yes. So he ended up braking about 2 or 3 laps into it. So Barry and Doug took the Punisher and went through that trailer.
I saw the aftermath. I saw how the Punisher looked like it was in a wreck on the highway.
Oh, yeah. That's what happens when we let Barry and Doug get behind the wheel.
It was, hey, you know what? And you had a great crowd, too. I mean, gosh, sellout crowd on a Sunday afternoon. Can't beat that. It's great to see New Brunswick doing great things with the racetrack so far this year. And you guys are open. We all kind of know the situation we're in here in Nova Scotia. Fingers crossed, plans don't change 2 seconds before things actually happen. And hopefully we can all be together in a few weeks here.
Well,
I'm hoping I can at least come home, boys.
No, you're banned. We already let them know you got to stay there. Sorry.
Listen, if they need help clearing that blockade, I know someone who could probably help, and it's Joey Petrie.
Yeah, well, you look at you just talked about the Punisher. Doug might be available if we absolutely need it. But yeah, I'm hoping that this June 30 date that Ian Rankin teased today is going to be more of the flavor. But we're going to be here this weekend for sure. For those that are in Nova Scotia, Dylan, we got the call yesterday. Scotia Speed World is opening with no fans on July 2nd.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So the weekly racing series brought to you by Car Stars is going to be back. So Thunder Division, Lightning Division, Bandos, the Sportsman Division, all back on Friday nights at Legends 2. So that is very exciting. A little bittersweet with no fans, but hey, got to start somewhere. And I know a lot of Nova Scotia drivers have been gearing up, getting ready for this season. So Friday, July 2nd, let's hope to God it doesn't rain, because that's how Nova Scotia works.
And I spoke to Ken Cunning a little bit earlier today. We are hoping to have an announcement for you guys next week, as long as the border reopens. I can't give you any more other than that. But excited for all the Scotia Speed World drivers that are going to be able to go racing next Friday night. And you got to believe that all the Nova Scotia tracks are chomping at the bit to get going with public health and getting that approval to get going. But let's talk about New Brunswick, because that's where we are, and that's what we're starting with this evening. We're starting with Speedway Miramichi and Denver. Let's introduce our first guest, a guy that won his first race in the Bomber Division last weekend.
Tim, it wasn't just his first win in the Bomber Division. It was his first stock car win overall, and it's been a long time coming for this driver, a fan favorite from Renews. Anyone from Miramichi would recognize him. Tyson Donovan, he has driven everything from the Dukes Division to mini stocks, to street stocks, to modifieds. Sitting home now in the Bomber Division, and he's looking strong. He's, for the first time in his career, leading the points, and he's coming off his first feature win. Tyson, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys, man. I really appreciate you just having me on here.
So let's get right down to business. Father's Day Sunday, it rained on Saturday. Speedway Miramichi is sold out, and you start on the pole and you drive to victory. How did it feel to get that first win?
Oh, I felt unreal, to be honest, after all these years. It's nerve-wracking being on pole. I think I started one mini stock race in pole. And believe me, I was talking to myself the whole time. I was like, man, hit your marks. I was looking in the mirror, and fortunately, like Mark Kingston, some of the big guys run into trouble. So I was looking, and like I said, Adam Plor got up pretty close to me, and I couldn't catch him in the heat race. So then the caution came out, and I was like, oh crap. And but he had wore his tires out running me down, and yeah, lucky I just hit my marks. And like I said, when I saw the checker flag, it was a long time coming.
Absolutely. And you had a lot, like you said, a lot of tough guys in your mirror. Adam really put the pressure on, but then, he had that tire issue. Coming on the end of the race in your mirror was Jonathan Dixon, and we all know the story with Jonathan in May, ended up on his roof in the feature. So, a great run for him, but, it's a tough class. And not only, like we said, did you win the race, you're now leading the points. You're on top of the world right now, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, like I told you before, my goal this season literally was just to maybe get a podium finish and try to snag a heat race. So, like, I didn't plan on running for points. I just wanted to show up. And basically, in order to run for points, you just have to be consistent, show up every race, and finish every race. And that was my goal for the year. But now the pressure's on already.
Absolutely. So you won the race. We're going to look ahead briefly before we look back.
Yep.
Firecracker 50 in July, and I know that's a race that has a lot of meaning to a lot of people, that shares a name with the Sportsman race that, a driver that I'm sure we're about to talk about a little more. Kim Holohan has a win in it. Ray McRae, Brad Mann, Kirk Jardine, lots of drivers have won that race. Now it's a bomber race. First time you guys are going to run 50 laps. You going to feel any pressure for that race? What are you expecting?
I still think I'm down the totem pole a little bit in the class for pressure-wise, but I got a plan, and if I can save some tires and keep the car on the lead lap, hopefully I'll be around at the end. And like you said, Kim won it, I think, 92, 93 or something like that. I was a little kid, but I do remember it, so I'd love to win it.
Let's talk about the tires before we talk about the start of your career, because for those who don't know Speedway Miramichi, it's the asphalt's 53 years old. It's rough. It's kind of like a cheese grater. So, being on the track with that type of surface, describe to other drivers who've never been to Speedway Miramichi or the fans what it's like out there.
It's rough. Like I said, there's no doubt in that. Anyone that comes to Miramichi is always either complaining about wearing tires too quick, and it's just kind of part of coming here. You got to realize that you got to save. I know some of the cars in our class, like the Nissans, are the strongest cars, in my opinion. They're super good in the heat race because they don't wear their tires. And that's my only hope in a long distance race, is that you can try to push those guys to burn their tires up.
So let's talk about your start in racing. I think you said you've been around in some capacity behind the wheel for about 13 years now. So take us back. How did you get your start in racing in Miramichi?
Well, I come from a long line of people that raced. So I'd go way back. I'll make it short. But my grandfather was a Holohan from Renews. And his brother Les, they raced. And then when Les decided to hang it up, they got Kim to race their car for them, which is their nephew. So I grew up as a kid in Kim's garage. Kim and my father, best friends. So that's what got me hooked into racing. And down the road, fast forward to like the early 2000s, Kim got back into racing. And Tommy and the rest, some of the boys got into four-cylinder racing. And then me and my brother started demos, I think 05. And we competed in 2 or 3 demos, did that until 08 or 09, and I bought my first Dukes car. And that was Timmy Vickers had an old street stock, and I bought it for $500 and put a motor and transmission in it and went racing.
So from growing up at the track as a kid watching Kim race, I know we touched on the Firecracker 50 win, but is there any other highlights, moments, maybe not necessarily even with Kim, that you remember from the track? What stands out in your mind from that time frame?
Well, I think when Kim came back racing in the early 2000s, he had probably the dominant car here in Miramichi at the time. And then Tommy had his four-cylinder car and won a track championship with it. And they were basically a one-car garage. The sportsman car was in it, and the four-cylinder was in the driveway. And I remember just going with him and to either here, Blue Mountain, and a couple times I know we went to Blue Mountain one day and Kim won Grand Slam and Tommy Grand Slam. So I remember it was pretty fun times back then.
I want to talk some about your street stock that you built in the right when Jason bought the track. But first, I'm going to pass the floor over to Dylan. Dylan, what do you got for the Bomber feature winner?
Man, well, Tyson, congratulations on the win. I had a blast watching it on Tim's Corner TV, and you were talking about Adam creeping up there. I mean, he had some bad luck that first race back in May, got the car all fixed up, and he looked competitive, and he would be close to Jonathan. He would pass him for a bit, then fall back, then catch right back up. Were you watching the mirror quite a bit, or were you really focusing on what was ahead of you in that race?
To be honest, between the first race and the last race, my mirror broke, so I got a piece of Lexan, which I got to thank Jason McCollum because he donated to me clear side auto glass. But I didn't have time to put a mirror on the car, so all I had was my two side mirrors. But yes, I was watching because I knew sometime they were going to come like a battle of hell. And like I said, John's car, for building a complete car in about 3 weeks, his car was super competitive. And I knew Adam, the boys were talking in practice that it was probably the fastest car there that day. And I saw him coming, but like I said, luck was on my side, I guess.
Did you have a little sigh of relief when you were seeing the smoke come off the tire?
Yes, for sure. I don't lie, because we get up when we restarted in the heat race. He kind of screwed up the turn. I got underneath him, and it wasn't no time he got around me. So I was like, I don't know if I have much for him today. And same as a few other guys, Mark and Jacob and them, they all had bad luck, and they're all fast. So I guess sometimes in racing you need luck. I had a lot of bad luck over the years, so I'll take the luck when I get it.
And there was a few cautions at the end, too, and a lot of slower cars really towards the end. It kind of seemed like some of the other bombers were putting around the track, maybe just trying to collect as many points as they can. Did you have a tough time getting around them also while focusing on Adam and Jonathan catching up to you potentially?
Yes and no. I know a lot of them were battling like limp mode issues. Their cars went in. I know Samantha Blakely's car, she has a good car in it, and Justin Munn and them. So I understood that they weren't on pace. So, I mean, coming up to them, but we had a pretty good drivers meet in Denver was in, and he really emphasized on if you're getting lapped, just to pick a lane and just run it. And they did a real good job, to be honest.
Awesome stuff. So Denver, before I throw it back to you, I know Tim's doing some stuff, going to kind of focus on social media, but I can see here we've got Brent Patterson watching. He always checks in. And he's wondering, Tyson, about the bomber cars. And it's a newer division to Speedway Miramichi, different name, kind of like a hobby stock, right? Maybe just a little scale back up from a demo. What exactly is a bomber, and what kind of a car can you race in the bomber division?
So the bomber division is any front-wheel drive V6 car, four-door, and it has to be under 250 horsepower. And they did grandfather the two-door Monte Carlos because they're the same weight as the four-door. And basically, you just need to put a 4-point gauge in it, and everything's supposed to be stockish. It's a really cheap way to get into racing. And like I said, we have, I think, 20 cars already been at the track between the two races. So it's super fun. The boys joke and jab at each other, and we have a great time. So, but it's super competitive. Everyone there wants to do good. So it's fun.
What kind of a car are you driving, Tyson?
I'm driving an 03 Camry, Toyota Camry. And it's a good car but they're about 210 horse, and the Nissans run about 249. So there's a little bit of difference there. And but it's apples and oranges sometimes, as if like the Toyotas can handle through the turns, the Nissans pull power down the straightaway. There's also a lot of guys have Impalas and Buicks. And it's just, like I said, a cheap way to get into racing.
It doesn't have to be expensive to be fun. I mean, those races I've watched in person and on Tim's Corner TV, they're a blast. Denver, we'll throw it back to you, and I guess kind of dive into how Tyson really got into real big-time racing here at Miramichi.
Well, first, Dylan, before we do that, we got on the screen here, Tyson, I believe this is the heat race battle with Adam leading you. And you mentioned the drivers like to joke around. I think there's no one and I hope he's watching. No one that's more fun to pick on than Adam Plort. So what's your best Adam Plort joke you can throw at him, or maybe tease him a little bit, seeing as you took the win on Sunday? I guess you won the feature, but he's just a heat race hero or something.
Well, in our chat before, I was telling the boys that I was trying to light my car up as light as possible to keep up with the Nissans. And Adam said, lighten it up all you want. You won't be able to beat me anyways. So got a little payback there.
So that aged poorly, Adam, and I hope you're watching. We like to, as Tim would say, we kid because we care.
Poke the bear.
Poke the bear, yes.
Stir the pot.
Yes. So Tyson, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but Jason Carnahan buys Speedway Miramichi in 2012, and you built one of the nicest street stocks I would say we ever saw, one of the most recognizable ones. So tell us about, 2012, 2013, the track reopens, Jason does a bunch of improvements, and you're hauling this badass-looking street stock to the track every week.
So a couple years prior, I had run a Dukes car, and then we were getting to like 15, 16 cars in the Dukes class, and like Brad McLean, Joel Clancy, Nathan Dean, Doug Long, like it was a stacked field. And then when Jason, the Rumbles, when he bought the track, he wanted to push us to a street stock class. So my Dukes car weren't competitive to go to a street stock. So I decided that I was going to build a street stock, and it was kind of ahead of its time because I dug an old Sportsman chassis that Kim had out behind his house, and I had got approval at the time to be able to run it. And my neighbor, Robert Donovan, who legit built the full car for me because I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. We were sitting there one day and we were trying to figure out a body to put on it. And I love like the two-door Malibu cars. That's kind of or the Nova, but we couldn't find any. And the guy sitting in there with us, he said, I got an old Chevelle up in the woods. And we kind of laughed like we didn't believe him. So we get on actually like four-wheelers and drove up, and here sitting in the woods was a 66 two-door Chevelle that he had drove in and threw the keys down through the woods 28 years before that. So that's how I got that body. And me and Robert took the cut torches, went up, cut the body off the frame and put it on my four-wheeler trailer and drug it down, and spent the next couple months putting it together. And I think it turned out pretty good. There's not too many of them kicking around on the street stock class.
It certainly was an iconic looking car. And how many years did you have that for? It must have been 4 or 5 years that you ran that street stock.
3 or 4 for sure. It went through, it was orange and yellow, and then it was white and red, and then I had the smoky unit colors there for kind of a season and a half.
And in that time, so you were running the street stock some, but I remember you also dabbled a few times in the demolition. And, this was on Sunday, you got your first stock car win, but you did win a demolition back in the day, around 2014, I think. Why don't you tell us a bit about your, big win in the demolition? I think it was at a Spooktacular or something.
Yeah, it was crazy. Friday night, I was down to Buddy's garage, and he's like, you're not building a demo car? And I said, no, I haven't in a while. And he literally picked up the phone. He called Kirk Chase Green. You know Kirk. And Kirk had a little Ford Escort for sale, and he said, I'll sell it for like $250. So we literally at midnight Thursday drove down, and Kirk threw me the keys, and I drove it home. It was still inspected till the end of the month. So I got up Friday morning, and I called in sick to work. And I took the car legit and got my groceries with it Friday morning. And then I brought it back to my buddy's garage and worked on it all day and night. And then whatever reason, they couldn't be around Saturday. So I literally packed it up and went to the track by myself. And my little cousin Riley met me there. And like I said, my parents didn't show up. My parents and family are pretty regular goers to the track. And that's the first time they didn't show up. And it's the first time I ever won anything. So like I said, it was a lot of luck because it was the smash to pass and then the last final cars. And I kind of just stayed out of trouble to save my car in the smash or pass. And then when we got down to 5 or 6 cars, everyone else was broke all up. And I had a fair advantage on them. So I was lucky to win. And I literally walked out of there, I think, with $1,500. So it was a good day for me.
That's not bad for a $250 car for sure.
and then the scrap guy gave me like $150 for the car.
There you go. We are live with Tyson Donovan, winner of the Bomber feature on Sunday at Speedway Miramichi. Drop a comment, drop a congratulations, let us know you're watching, and we want to keep Tim and Dylan busy. I see Matt Martin's waiting in the wings, got some comments, and we're pumped to have Matt Martin coming up. But Tyson, to keep going with your career, shortly after, I think you might have had a little bit of a break, but then you ended up in a mini stock for a year or two. Why don't you tell us how you got, you go from the Dukes and the street stock and a few demolitions, and then end up in the mini stock?
Well, to be honest, my heart's still in a street stock. It's my favorite type of racing, and I love that they have a distinct look to them. And I just really couldn't afford to race. I just used money on my own pocket, basically. And after going so long and not being able to kind of compete just money-wise, I gave it up for a bit. And then I took a bad itch one summer, and I think it was Michael Savoy had an old Prelude, and I think I paid like $800 for it. And I knew it was going to be back of the pack car, but I just wanted to get out and get that itch off. So I did that for a summer, and then that got me even bigger itch. So I tried to build a new street stock, and that's the one I had built in Chris's garage. And it was beautiful. I had found an old Nova body, and but I was like $5,000 into it without a motor, transmission, and then the way the tires were going at the time, I just realized I couldn't afford to compete. So I got rid of it and got into the modified.
So let's talk about that. That was the next jump for you. And, you talked about watching Kim race, and you end up racing alongside Kim in the modified class. And then guys like Zine Dutcher, Eve McRae, Doug Matchett. What was it like your couple years that you got to dabble in the modifieds?
Oh, it was kind of a dream come true, to be honest. I was just happy being out on the track with those guys. If you look at the modified field, it's stacked full of good drivers. It's legit. And, just like I said, to be running with them, my goal was just try to keep up. And I did at times. And like I said, I had super bad luck. In last year, it was the first year I had put some money away, and I took it to Steve's garage and literally did it from the frame up. And no money was spared, and rebuilt the engine, and 20 laps practicing, the engine blew up on me. So, I mean, like, it was just, I got to a point where I couldn't afford to put another $3,000 motor into it. So I had to part ways, I guess.
Definitely. That's the unfortunate part of racing sometimes, is that cost. And, I guess that's where the Bomber class comes in to bring this full circle. But first, I want to ask you about, I guess, one particular night in the modifieds. And you had a pretty good run going, but I believe it was the modified 50 in 2019. Things kind of ended for you. And, I guess they say if you can't, or something like if you can't win the show, be the show. And you really went up in a blaze of glory, I guess, going into turn 3.
I didn't know. See, that car, I put everything brand new on it, so I wasn't expected for mechanical failures, but somehow my transmission line split. It was brand new, and it was pouring transmission fluid out, and the modifieds have the open headers there, and then my battery was still up front, so I could smell it, and for some reason we had thought it was just not a head gasket, but a valve pan gasket was just dripping down, and everyone was like, "Oh, I'll be fine," and I could smell it, and it just smoke started creeping into the cab or the cockpit, and I was like, "Okay, I got to pull off," and before I got off, it was just a ball of flame up over me. And I panicked so bad that I ripped the weld off my window net. I just pulled it right clear, and got out. And luckily, the crew was right there, and we got the fire out. And it did minimal damage, but man, it scared me for sure.
I remember that was I think it scared everybody. I think one of the drivers has a GoPro footage of them driving down the backstretch, and all you see is the ball of flame. And I think they almost stuff it in the wall. They got so caught them off guard. But let's bring it full circle, Tyson. You've dabbled in so many cars. You've kind of found a home in the Bomber class now. How has all your experience, whether it be from street stock and Dukes and mini stock and modified and demo, how has that helped you to get to where you are now, a Bomber feature winner, the Bomber points leader here in 2021?
Well, the whole saying is, you can't run too many laps on the track. And I know over the last 12 years, I put on a pile of laps. I even hot lapped Kim's Sportsman car a handful of times, hot lapped other people's cars. And I understand our track. And like I said, I did go to Petty. It was the only other track I ever raced at. But in the bomber division, it's sometimes you can't expect what the people are going to do because some guys are new to the racing scene. So it does make it interesting when you're racing against them because you're like, okay, most veteran drivers would do this, and you don't know if they're going to do it or not. So it is fun and it's challenging. And like you said, it's competitive. I've been in lots of cars, and like you said, this is probably the most fun I had for the minimum. Any racing's not cheap. I don't care what anyone says, but it's the best bang for your buck if you really enjoy being out on the track and being competitive. And that's my goal since I started racing, was just to be competitive. And it's kind of fallen into place a little bit there now.
Absolutely. And, it showed the work, the effort, and you put a lot of time in it over the winter too. And that stuff really pays off. Races are one of the shops. And, I want to ask you about the paint scheme on the car. It's I think it's a Sterling Marlin throwback. What kind of inspired you to throw the Coors Light silver bullet scheme on it? Because it sure is a bullet out there on the track. It's fast.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but Kim's car was painted that way in the early 2000s when he got back into racing. And that's probably the most wins I saw him personally win with that car. So I said, if I had a hope in hell of carrying a flag, I said, I want to paint it like that car. And the car came that color, which was a big reason. It was a silver car, but that's my biggest reason for painting it that color. And I love Coors Light too, so.
Can't go wrong with Coors Light, eh, Dylan?
Have they sent you a 2-4 yet for the win, Tyson?
No, that's what I was hoping. I even got T-shirts and stuff. I said, sooner or later, I got to get some merch.
Gotta tag them in like Instagram posts or something, like at Coors Light Canada. I'm sure you'll be able to get a 2-4 here soon. Denver, anything else?
Well, Tyson, I want to ask you about the figure eight trailer race on Sunday. You stuck around for it, eh?
Yes, I did, yeah.
So you've seen a lot of crazy stuff at Speedway Miramichi. What did you think of that figure eight trailer race?
I personally, I enjoyed it big time. I almost, when I left there, I said, I got to build a car and a trailer for next year. And that's saying something because a lot of us older guys, we say we don't have the gonads to race in the demos anymore like we did when we were younger, but it was pretty cool. And I like the concept of it to try to smash other guys' trailer. You know what I mean? I wasn't a big fan growing up in the figure eights because back in our day, guys would shove you through the circle if you slowed down. So you had to go. But yeah, it was, I think, the crowd's reaction. Like I said, when Joey went through the camper, it's hard to beat that, really, for entertainment.
Let's talk about that crowd just quickly. It was a sellout crowd. When was we've seen some good crowds lately. What's it mean through all the highs and lows to see crowds at Speedway Miramichi that big again?
Oh, I love it, man. Through the years when the track was kind of going down and up, and like me, it's my favorite passion. So my number one priority is want the track to succeed. And demos is the huge part to our track. There's no denying it. And it draws the crowd. And to see it revamped last year through COVID, it makes us racers, makes us want to go in the garage and build our cars faster because instead of being 300 fans, there's 2,000, you know what I mean? So I'm glad for Barry. He put his time in and he had some rough years and now it's paying back. And I hope the track's around forever, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Tim, you hanging in over there? I know you're at another track tonight. How you making out?
You know what? The one thing I did not miss about this racetrack is the sun sets off of turn 4 and they don't have any shade in the tower yet. So I'm getting a lot of glare. You can't see it on the camera, but there's a lot of glare coming off of turn 4. So for those that are racing on Saturday night, the sun sets around 8:30. Keep that in mind. We are live and interactive on social as well, so be sure to drop us a question, drop us a comment. Mark Kingston is in here saying, great job Sunday, Tyson. Hope you've got lots of tires for the Firecracker 50. So are you prepared for that?
Oh, I am, yeah. Me and Mark had a big say after it. Like I said, he got a fast car, and he really kind of set the pace for the rest of us. But I'm going to give them all I can give. That's for sure. I just pray the car holds together. That's my number one hope.
Brandon Campbell is watching, and he actually was a part of our crew. He was a part of the track crew on the weekend as well. He was also supposed to drive a race car on the weekend. He asks, why did you choose the number 63? He thinks 99 would be a better option. So why did you choose the car number that you have?
Well, to be honest, back in the day, me and my brother had two different demo cars. My favorite number was 9, but it was so popular back in the day that we just picked random. And I was 62 and he was 63. And then eventually down the road, we drew a name of a hat because we just shared one car. So we became 63. Now, a pretty cool story. He played hockey for the Moncton Wildcats. And when he was there, they were going for the Memorial Cup and he ordered new jerseys in. And he ordered his jersey 63. But before the season started, he got traded to PEI and Brad Marchand came and took his jersey. So Brad's 63.
Yeah, there you go. It's a neat little story the way it comes full circle, right?
Yeah. So I just kept it over the years. And I was going to change it because I had such bad luck, but I stuck by it.
Well, maybe that's what Brandon needs. Maybe Brandon needs to change his number to 63 because I don't even think the car went to the racetrack on the weekend. So it's something about a distributor problem. He called this, that, and the other guy. So if you have a distributor for whatever year his Honda Civic is, get a hold of Brandon Campbell because he wants to eventually go racing at some point this year. It might not be soon. But Denver, you mentioned that Matt Martin is watching. He's going to be up a little bit later on. Riley Harris is going to be joining us in just a few moments' time as well. I want to thank Brent Patterson and everybody that's watching, Angela Newman, we got Nathan McLean, Gary Goodwin, Betty McCoy, Janet Healy. Great to have our folks from Newfoundland watching us as well. Tanya Everett, one of our photographers that takes care of a lot of our photos from around New Brunswick is watching as well. Samantha and Timmy Blakely commented on the Miramichi side saying there was 2 Toyotas on the podium on Sunday. So you guys seem to have it figured out. Nancy Hollahan Sturgeon, Ryan McKnight watching as well, and Martha Borg. So don't be afraid. Hit us a like, drop us a comment, and hit that share button. Let your friends know you're watching some bench racing here this evening. And we got Matt Martin coming up. We've got Riley Harris coming up. And boys, this has been a great conversation with Tyson. I've been sitting back writing the press release for Saturday here at 660 and enjoying this conversation. You guys carry on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. It's different tonight. Tim's, a little camera shy. It's all right,
well,
Tim.
I will say this, and you guys know as well as I do that the last couple of years we've been to Speedway 660, the internet situation hasn't been exactly the greatest. We've been toying with the idea of doing some live broadcasts. The plan is to do some live audio coming up on Saturday here from the Gary Woods, but this is more of a test connection sort of deal for us, trying to figure out where the internet is and where it's strong and where it drops and how consistent it is over a Wednesday evening. Obviously, when you put a bunch of people into this facility and it starts to wear on the cell structure and everything else, it might change a little bit. But it's more of a test for me, so you don't see the glitching robot-looking face on the screen all the time. So that's usually how I look half the time anyway. But you boys carry on.
That's the beautiful part about Speedway Miramichi is fiber optic internet. Can't beat it. But Tyson, we've kind of talked about the Firecracker 50, but 50 laps seems like a lot to some people. We're going to throw 100 laps at you at the end of October. No points on the line. This is kind of like an endurance race. It's no intentional contact, but there's also not really any yellow flags. Halfway break at lap 50 and draw for position and have at her, have some fun, and see who can complete 100 laps first. What do you think of that?
It's interesting for sure. There'd be a lot of, like you said, you'd have to have a plan for that one because our cars barely get through 30 laps without chewing the tires up. And when you talk basically twin 55s with minimal stop, I don't know, it's going to maybe throw the car up into drive and just kind of run the first half of the race and try to stay on the lead lap if you can. I don't know if I do not think my car can go on the floor for 100 laps. They got 300 some thousand on it. I'm kind of scared.
You'll be on the cords for sure. There'll be no rubber left in your tires.
Not a chance. So
So
it's fun though.
It should be a blast. I almost want to get my own car for that one and tell Barry to find someone else to flag it and see how that one goes. Dylan, I bet you want one too.
I would love one, but I got a question though about the tires and when they wear out, Tyson, especially on a front wheel drive bomber car. What do you feel as a driver when Miramichi is just chewing those suckers up?
Most of the time in these cars, that your front right takes the beating most, and once it starts to wear, you just push up in the turn, and you can't get back on the gas. You can't drive in this deep, and you'll see guys eventually just fading back because they can't get around the turn, and they can still power down the straightaway, but the turn's really what gets you.
What else can you do to prepare a car like that for like basically twin 50s and that brake? How important will that be to fix something? What can you do to make your car last the entire time, maybe without maybe getting wrecked by accident?
See, so far I've been basically running a tire for the feature and then putting a new tire on, not a new tire, but a new to me tire. You can get $25, $30 you pay for a tire. But my plan, like both features I raced in, I put a new tire on for that feature, praying that I can get the 30 laps in. But after the one that just went by, I think I can get 50 of that tire because it didn't wear as much as I thought. But at the same time, I didn't have to battle through the pack. And when you battle through the pack, you wear it a lot quicker.
Would that tire pass a safety inspection for real life driving?
Yeah, no, not a chance.
This is great. This is great, Denver. Just getting all this info about bombers because it is a division that's new to Miramichi and up in Sydney. It's different name, but similar thing. But it's just so great hearing these stories about the cars being set up and getting ready. And I see Barry Richard's watching, the boss man. He wrote, "We can get Brittany, Denver." LOL. Do you know what that's referencing?
I assume that's get Brittany to flag the bomber endurance race.
And then you do it.
So while I drive.
Whoa, boys. Denver, I thought you were retired.
Well, I've retired from staff racing.
Okay.
Remember, I bought Adam Plort's car that won the points championship last year. I have it here.
There we go. I'd love to beat Adam in his own old car. Wouldn't that be great? So we talked about the bomber class, Tyson, and there's been some talk about maybe trying some other tracks out. I know Shediak's got some bomber racing. Is there any tracks? I know you said you've been to Petty. Anything on your bucket list that you would love to see the bombers go race at?
To be honest, Speedway 660 is kind of my bucket list track for New Brunswick. I always wanted to go to PEI too, or dabble in Nova Scotia, but I just never seemed to have a car. My modified rigged up last year. I thought I was going to get to the speed weekend, and I went to my first speed weekend probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe when the 13 car was dominating, and I loved the whole atmosphere there that weekend. And I always tried to get rigged up, and I know the boys are talking. I know Petty, they reached out to Wayne and said if we could bring so many cars, he said, just our class, just go to Petty and race our class there for like an exhibition race. And we've been rumbling in our group chat, and I know there's probably 10 or more that has agreed that they would haul their car down there for just an exhibition race. But whether it works out this year or not, I'd love to.
I think it would be fun to see.
I think the boys would really, and girls too in our class would, it would open their eyes to the high banks of Petty. And I think they'd have fun.
Be great. I would love that. That'd be so cool to see those bomber cars and a little bit of an angle in turn 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'd love that.
Dylan, you know a thing or two about high banks as the announcer at Riverside.
Any bomber guys want to come to Riverside? Think the tires will last there?
We blow it up that long straightaway.
Yeah, pretty much. But Tyson, are there any other tracks? You mentioned Oyster Bed. What about Nova Scotia? Any tracks over here that kind of interest you to maybe not a bomber, but if you're offered something else, where would you like to race? Do you know much about any other tracks around here?
Any of them, to be honest. I was tormenting with my girlfriend at the time. She wanted to go, if the borders open, to Cape Breton for a vacation. I said, I wonder how close our bomber rules match up with Sydney's. I said, I could haul the car behind me down. I said, it'd be a pretty cool trip. That's a far-fetched assumption, but it'd be something on the bucket list to do. Maybe down a year or two and see how close that Shediac and Sydney, how close our rules are and our cars are.
Well, Tyson, we got to Riley Harris about to come on next. Do you have any questions for Riley? You've raced against him in the Bomber. He's been in the demos. Any questions you think that we should throw at Riley Harris?
No, all I can say is Riley's probably one of the nicest guys around the track. And anytime I talk to him, like me and Riley's same age, we kind of grew up together-ish. We knew each other. And like I said, he's one of those sportsman guys that, I have the utmost respect for, because he races demo as hard as anyone can do it. And then he races his Bomber and he gets out and he's laughing and tormenting and, you know what I mean? Just keeping to himself. So he comes from a real good family, and I have tons of respect for that family. And he plays guitar and sings, so that's pretty cool too.
Yes, lots of racing families from Miramichi. Tyson, we thank you for coming on tonight. Before we wrap up, who do you have to thank, whether that be sponsors, family, friends, crew, et cetera, et cetera? Who do you have to thank for making your racing career possible and making your win on Sunday possible?
Well, I have no sponsors on my car, so if there's anyone watching, my rule to myself was I didn't want to ask for sponsorship until I could be competitive. So if there's anyone out there, whatever, but I'm a kind of one. Well, my brother and my father come to every race, so I got to thank them. I call them the race day crew. They show up on race day. But other than that, like I said, I have a big family. Kim and Dwayne Donovan, and even Chris and Steven and Zine. A lot of guys give me a hand over the years. Denny Millette gave me a big hand with my street stock back in the day, and Darcy O'Neill. Like, I find the racers around here, they want to see as many cars on the track as possible, so they are really good at helping out. So I thank everyone over the years for lending me a hand, because I didn't really have much to work with. So, like I said, I just want to thank them, and hopefully the rest of the year stays pretty good.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time tonight coming on to talk about your win, share some stories. Congrats on your first career stock car win in the Bomber division. And, Firecracker 50 up next. Maybe we'll be talking to you as a winner of the Firecracker 50 here in a few weeks.
That'd be great.
Well, thanks again, folks. That's Tyson Donovan. He is the winner of the Bomber feature on last Sunday at Speedway Miramichi. And before we get to our next guest, who is also a winner at Speedway Miramichi, we got to talk some racing for this weekend. It's been a long month since their last race, but Speedway 660 is going to return on Saturday night, 6:30 start. It's a full card of racing. We got pro stocks added and street stocks added, in addition to mini stocks, or I guess sharpshooters, and the sportsman division, plus round number 3 for the Atlantic Modified Tour, and there will be on-demand video from Tim's Corner TV. Tim's hoping that we have some live audio to stream for all the fans.
I'm going to knock on all the brand new wood that's in this tower. That's the plan right now, Denver. We're going to stream the live audio on Saturday night. And as you mentioned, Remax East Coast Elite Realty Pro Stock. Was just talking to Brent Roy. It is a 100-lap feature on Saturday night. So breaking news. Guess what? Surprise. We're doing 100 laps for Pro Stocks on Saturday. The Atlantic Modified Tour is here, as you mentioned, Brent Enterprise 35. Fredericton Gun Shop Sharpshooters, DMR Auto Sales and Service Street Stocks, and the Late Model Sportsman Division. First time they've been on the racetrack here in over a month. So if you're in the area, if you're in the province of New Brunswick, or if you're in Nova Scotia and can quarantine for 7 days, come on up. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have some fun. And as we mentioned, the on-demand video will be available on Sunday on Tim's Corner TV and available with your on-demand subscription. So head over there, sign up, and give these guys that pour in their hard-earned time and everything else, give them a little bit of a pump on the back end. But Denver, we are ready to go, and I know this guy's got a lot of fans. Who's our next guest?
Riley Harris, Brandon, Frank Kenzie watching.
It's pretty excited to have this guy on, Tim. You're going to see on the screen Riley Harris is a third-generation driver, the grandson of Maritime Motorsports Hall of Famer Frank McKenzie, who helped build that trailer that went to victory lane on Sunday. Riley has been a long-time driver now. He's tied for third after Sunday on the all-time demo wins list with Robert Legier. He's in some pretty good company. And, how about that trailer race? He put on a show and made the final hit on Joey Petrie to become the first ever winner of the figure eight trailer race, driving the number one car that his grandfather made famous in Miramichi. Riley, welcome to Tim's Corner Live.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's get right down to business, Riley. We got to talk about figure eight trailer race. Never been done in Atlantic, Canada before. What did you originally think of this crazy idea that we threw at the drivers?
Well, when I first seen it, it was I didn't know what to expect. I knew that there would be some of the guys that would be bringing trailers. So when I seen it announced, I knew it would happen, but I don't know. I've been at the track forever, so I'm used to like the regular, dash, backup, bag race, figure eight demo. So this one was definitely out of my comfort zone for the sake of using comfort zone to talk about Demolition Derby. But yeah, I was excited. It was great for me because I had bought that Monte Carlo a while back, and when you guys announced it, I realized that there was a trailer hitch on it. So I was like, perfect, I'll just take that one.
Let's talk about that race itself. We had about a dozen trailers show up. We had trailers of all shapes and sizes. You had Joey Petrie with this, little, I don't know, almost like a shoebox of a trailer that he just would not come off. You have Norm Robichaud and Dawson Cripps with full-blown camper trailers. From the driver's seat, what was the perspective like going around the figure eight with all these trailers, flying everywhere around the track?
Well, I just remember when I first put the trailer on and I started out of the pits, you kind of felt the trailer. And it's like, oh my God. So I get out to line up for the race and I pull up and here's Dawson Cripps in reverse with the trailer hitch welded on the front bumper, and he's in reverse talking to me, and I'm like, this is just wild. It's like, I can't believe what I'm seeing out of my race car right now. And then Doug Matcha came over to check us all out or whatever, and he said, can I get on the back? I said, I don't know, you might be better off in Norm's or Dawson's camper. But yeah, it was really cool, and I rented the TCM package last night, so I watched it, and I thought it was great. But the moment that stands out for me is if you watch the video when Joey went through Norm's trailer, I was coming around where turn 2 would be, and I had like probably the only guy that's seen it from that angle, so I seen him go in. And it was just like a Fast and the Furious movie explosion. I'm like, my jaw dropped. I was just like, oh my God, this is insanity. Yeah.
That was definitely wild. And you're right. You would have been the only person with that point of view for that. And, I know from the stand's point of view, it was like an explosion. And, I don't think I've ever heard the crowd at any racetrack go as nuts as they did in that moment when Joey sent it through Norm's trailer.
Yeah, it was wild. Like, I was still in turn 2 when they made contact, and I was coming across the track, so it was just like getting louder, and you could feel the crowd. It was insane. Like, you could hear them over everything, like all the revving and everything. So yeah.
Let's talk about the winning move, because after Joey hit Norm's trailer, and Norm's trailer could still had a little bit left in it, enough that it wouldn't have been out, but then Norm tried to get Joey back and broke something on the van, so that took him out. So it came down to you and Joey, and you made quite a little move there to seal the deal and take the win. Describe what's going through your head when you're coming off turn 2. You see Joey coming around turn 3. You guys are headed for the X, and kind of slowing down, playing a little chess match, seeing who's going to make the first move.
Yeah, well, the lap prior, he had stopped, like come to a complete stop and waited. And I remember coming around turn 2 and he was at a dead stop. And I was just like, well, like, what do you do here? Like, you have to go. So I just kind of gunned it. And I was going to let whatever happened happen. But then I think he had a busted front tire or something, or that car wasn't gripping. And when I went by, he started to come but couldn't get it. So then I was like, well, he'll probably do it in the next lap. But then he hung him right and followed me. He didn't go all the way around, so he followed me back through. And then when I came around the next time, he was doing the same thing. So I tried to play it like I was going to blow by him again. And then I just hung a huge right, jumped. I think it was right off the pave. Like I come right off the 8. And yeah, like I hit the trailer. I didn't know if I would get it or not. But out of the left side of my eye, after I hit him, I just seen the trailer kind of bouncing. I was like, oh my God, I got it. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was pretty special for sure. It's something that will be talked about for a long time. I want to throw it over to Dylan, who has some experience of his own. Dylan, what do you got for the winner of the inaugural figure 8 trailer race?
Well, Riley, I mean, man, that was a race. That was pure entertainment watching it on Tim's Corner TV. And congratulations on the big win as well. You know, I've never driven with a trailer like on the roads, and that can be stressful for someone who's doing it for the first time. You're doing it in a race where you maybe concerned that could it even just fall off? You're doing a turn maybe too tight, or was that on pretty good?
It was just like a standard trailer hitch, like same thing we use to tow the bomber car and the demo cars to the track. So there's nothing special about it, and I figured that's how I would eventually get knocked out. Either somebody knock my wheel off, or somebody get me sideways. And I thought I was done. At one point there, Joey Petrie got me totally sideways, and the trailer was jackknifed. And I didn't think I was coming out of that, but I think the trailer kind of swung, and I turned the wheel at the same time, and it loosened it up, and he kind of broke off me right then. And then I wasn't sure if I had the trailer on or not, but I put those 2 flags in the back just so I could see if it was there. So I remember like looking back and I seen the New Brunswick flag. I'm like, well, I guess we'll just keep going. So got back out and kept going. Yeah.
I thought you were just showing your pride to be a New Brunswicker, but that's a really smart idea, though.
Yeah, the little trailer I had, it was so small that you couldn't see it out from behind you, but yeah, it worked out cool. The flags look really good on the camera, I thought. And after the race, the Canada flag was gone, but the New Brunswick flag was still on there.
Yeah, it was. It looked good in the air. So I know I watched a few trailer figure 8 races on YouTube leading up to this. I mean, I played video games that had trailer figure 8 races, and I just wanted to watch it to kind of get some sort of an expectation. What were your expectations going into the race with only about 12 cars? And Norm was really the only guy who had a giant camper in that race.
Yeah, Norm had one, and then Dawson had one, but Dawson, I think he lost all his gears except for reverse, so he was backwards. So yeah, it was mostly like smaller trailers and then Norm, but I had a feeling that Norm was gonna be the star of the show, and he definitely stole the show. Him and Joey, that was incredible. That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen at the track in my lifetime.
I mean, it was cool watching it on video, but in person, it just must have been something else. But I'm sure with Denver, we're going to dive into the rest of the day anyways, with the demolition part. How did you find the other events? Did you take part in the Dash for Cash? I mean, there's so many cars on track there. It's almost hard to keep track. How was the rest of the demolition events for you?
Well, yeah, I was in the Dash for Cash. I started at the back, and yeah, I just remember it being like really dusty, and there's like I think 51 cars, and yeah, I went up for the tire race, and that was chaos. That was pure chaos. That one's one of my favorite races. Now that's like a newer one to me because I remember when Jason, I think, bought the track, they did basically the same thing, except they called it the barrel race, and they had like two kind of flagpole barrels, and it was the same idea. But yeah, I got to try the tire race in the rear wheel drive, I think last year, the year before, and I think it was 2018. And yeah, the tire race in the rear wheel drive is the most fun ever in demo I think I've ever had.
Even from some of the shots that Tim and the crew had last weekend, turn 3 was quite the traffic jam with that camera. I mean, how did you go into those turns? Some guys were cutting it real short. Some were taking the long route to get around those tires.
Yeah, I remember I seen a video of Randy Jeward swinging the Dodge Grand Caravan. It was like I think his rim was busted, so it slid even better. But yeah, he got through that clean on that final restart. I think it was a 1-lap shootout, and man, he got through there so clean. So I was happy to see him win that one. And yeah, it's hard because in the front wheel drives, if you come up down off the pave and hit the dirt, it pushes you, and then you're kind of spinning trying to catch that pave again. But yeah, it's very hard to get in tight to the tire, especially when you're in traffic. And that race is wild because it's probably the only time during the show where you're getting hit on both bumpers and both sides doors.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to take a toll on the body. I mean, like, I know doing the figure 8 race last fall, I mean, I got beat around a couple times in the X, just the leaders passing by. And that race, you said there, front and back, a little sore after the day there, Riley?
No, I actually wasn't too bad this time. The first demo, like the first summer, not the winter one, but the first demo we just did, the spring smash, I was a little banged up after that one. I gave a few hits there that the neck was feeling a little tight for a few days. But after this one, it wasn't too bad. Actually, I was surprised because in the final demo there, I took probably 5 or 6 pretty good shots, and yeah, it was actually not too bad this time. So I was lucky, I guess.
Do you stretch a bit to maybe loosen the body up before you get thrown around like a rag doll in the car?
No. I do all my stretching before the bombers class. No, but I'm pretty good shape. When we got caught up at the end, the car I was stuck on, he spun his tire down, and the rubber all shot in my car, and I burned all the back of my arm. But besides that, I'm not too sore. So it was
oh boy,
yeah.
How did that must have hurt pretty darn bad, eh?
Well, I ran over to the enforcer car, and I was like, Barry, help me get this rubber off my arm. And he's like, I don't got any water. All I got's a can of Coke. So then I remembered I was going to say pour the Coke or like something on me. But I was running back my car, and then they found a bottle of water or something. I think Doug found one, and then I ran back over, and he poured it over the arm. I was like, oh, okay, that's better.
Holy moly, Denver.
Listen, they're wild, Dylan. You haven't got the full demo experience until you do the actual demolition derby.
I would have done it if my van didn't overheat after the figure 8 in October.
Well, Riley, I think Paul just kind of triggered something that we have to talk about here, and he's showing on the screen what Tim called the Holiday Demolition Fireplace channel. Last October, you stole the show, I guess, in a blaze of glory. Take us back to the Halloween Spooktacular, and when your car turned into a little bit of a campfire.
Yeah, well, I remember the red flag came out for the demo, and believe it or not, I actually stopped. So I've never stopped it again. No, I'm just joking. But I'm sitting there. I have my car in park, and I know who it was, but anyway, I won't say any names. But he come along and just completely junked me, like tore the whole axle out of my car. Like I was done. So I didn't really realize it at the time because I was still in the car. So then, yeah, I tried to kind of get the car moving and that, and then so I'm just sitting there, and then Dawson Cripps the demo was going again by this point. So the demo starts, and mid-demo, Dawson Cripps pulls up to the side of my car, and he said, "You might want to get out of your car. It's on fire." And then takes off again. So I got out, and where I was, it was like close to the pave. So I got out, and I had my fire extinguisher, pulled the pin. It lasted for about 2 seconds, and then that was that. So I think Doug and them pulled up, and I was like, put the fire out. And then, I don't know, like, it was too far gone or something. And then they put me in the car, and then they drove me off the thing. And then, the car burnt right to the ground. It was lots of people messaging me and stuff and welcome me to the Upside Down on Fire Club. But yeah, no, it was crazy.
It had been a long time since we've seen a car completely burn to the ground. I know I don't remember the last time. I was probably a kid the last time we saw one burn that bad. I think the way the story went is, and I hope she's watching as well, Sam Jardine struggled to put out a fire. So then Doug had to use extra fire extinguishers on another one. And we had 3 fires start at the same time. And then by the time they got to yours, they had to use 3 or 4 of them. And they're like, well, it's too far gone. We got to save the rest if something happens. So, drivers stay on that side of the track, and we're going to call the fire truck.
Hey, Denver, don't tempt me. I think I have the Sam Jardine clip here somewhere that I can give to Paul if you absolutely want to see it.
That's always fun. Sam was on the crew for the video Saturday or Sunday, so she did a great job. But she said she missed being in the car.
Can we brag on her for a second though, because Dylan knew we had a toy that we started playing with this winter at the Passion Flooring and Interiors East Coast Mini Stock Tour meeting. We actually got a wireless camera over the winter. First time we actually got to use it, so we threw Sam Jardine over in turn 3 during the tire race. So that was kind of cool. Want to brag on Sam for being the, I think, Dylan, we called her the second best camera op, wireless camera op that we've had, something like that. So I know you were pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, I mean, it just was so cool and so refreshing to see that angle. I mean, with the races we've covered, it's always the static camera in the middle. You may have the one on the flag stand, but to get that angle and to have that movement and to follow the cars going in, and what Riley was talking about in turn 3 and 4, just the big tractor trailer tire right in the middle, and all these cars were piling in like they were driving on ice. It was so cool to see.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting, and hopefully, knock on wood, we'll have an extra camera op here. Actually, our camera op that was going to do our wireless camera is going racing with the Street Stocks this weekend. So if you're in the province of New Brunswick and you want to help us out in our crew, give me a shout, and we can put you to work here at Speedway 660. But social media is alive and well. So be sure to head over to Tim's Corner Motorsports. We're also live on the Speedway Miramichi page. Drop us a comment, drop us a like. I see BJ Gillespie is watching. Want to say hello to him. Doubleheader last week, went to Miramichi and Petty on the same night. And congratulations to Rob Poirier on the win down there. And congratulations to Neil Muse on the win in Miramichi. When it comes to the mini stock division, I'm sure they're going to be ready to go here in the next couple of weeks. Matt Martin has his fans. He's already in the chat already, so drop him a comment. He'll be on the show here in just a bit as well. Dylan Story saying Riley is one of the best guys at the racetrack. And Tommy Fraley watching from Alabama, so want to say hello to him as well. Drop us a comment. Drop us a question for Riley. Keep us busy over here. And by the way, Denver, Brittany Hoyt is not watching, but she was told that she is the best flag person, or that's exactly what she told me. Something like that. You guys can figure that one out. Back to you.
Sounds good, Tim. We'll debate that, I'm sure. But Riley, let's take a step backwards. For those who don't know who Riley Harris is, when did you get your start in racing? Because you come from some pretty good racing heritage.
Yeah, my first race on Speedway Miramichi, I think I was like 8 or 9. They had those pedal carts. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those pictures, but anyway, they did 4 draws during the year for these pedal carts, and it was by the end of the year it was me, Brady. I think it was Brady Kramer's older brother, and Michael Burns and Bradley Reagan, Rat Reagan's son. So the 4 of us, they put us out on these pedal carts, and we raced from basically the goal line in turn 4 to the start finish line. And I think I came 3rd. and that was my first race on the track. That was a long time ago. But I started working at Mercy City Speedway for Reggie Tozer in, oh geez, it must have been like 2002 or 2003. I can't remember. I did 2 or 3 years up in the tower, like scoring the demo and stuff. I think that was my first job. And then I was too young to race, and I was just wanted to go in the demo so bad. And then I was 15 years old. I never had my license or anything yet, and I was begging Reggie all year, can you let me go in the demo? Can you let me go in the demo? So the year goes by, and the last demo of the year, I said, is it cool if I go in the demo? He said, I never forget it, man. Reggie Tozer pulled me aside, and he said, tell you what, he said, if you build a car and get it ready, I'll let you go in the demo. So I went out, and that was my first ever demo in 2005. So yeah, that's where I started racing. And then I think my first time racing like a stock car was in the Dukes, the first year of the Dukes. I think that was 2007.
So what do you remember from, those early days, like 05, 06, 07, 08? Those are some pretty big years for demolition. There's still some pretty big car counts. And then that Dukes class with Brad McLean, Joel Clancy, Nathan Dean, they were really the class of the field. But you were there with them some nights. And, what do you remember from those years? Those are the years I remember going to the track as a kid and watching you guys all put on a show.
Yeah, like those days there, it was, it hurt a lot more. the cars were like I'd say like 80 to 90% big rear wheel drives, and yeah, like back then it was crazy because it was all these huge boats, and they would go wide open, like straight up as hard as you can go. It's kind of like today, like you see the guys that run it wide open, but back then they were doing it with like big LTDs and big Cadillacs, and every car was a big Cadillac. It was wild, and when you got hit back then, you definitely felt it.
So take us back to your first demolition win, and I believe that's in July of 2009. I believe it was a rain out, kind of like a Sunday, just like we had last week. Your first win, what was it like? And you would have only been probably 19 at the time.
Yeah, 2009. Yeah, I would have been 19, 20. I remember it was a Taurus station wagon, and yeah, I remember my uncle Travis. I had this old 1990 LTD in the yard, and I gave that car to him, and he got that one ready. So we went in it together, and I remember we went out that night and started the dash for cash on the pole. Got dropped back to like 5th or 6th, and then in the last couple laps, I come through, and everything it was crazy. It just worked out perfect. A couple guys got spun. I think I took the lead with like a lap to go or something, come around and won. And then I was just happy as could be. And then raced the rest of the night. And then we went out for the final demo. And yeah, like back then, man, like it was crazy. I remember Robert Legier was in that demo with a great big old car, and Kevin Tucker had a great big Ford. So it was just wild. And yeah, just everything worked out completely perfect. And yeah, I remember it come down. I think it was like me, maybe Mark Kingston or someone. I think Mark Kingston was driving and got second in that demo. And then come down the end, he was totally junked. He was just sitting there, and I threw that final hit, and I remember seeing the checker flag, and I was like, "Yes, sir, that's pretty cool."
So I want to ask you, you're doing demolitions as a teenager. How did your parents handle that? Your mother was around the track forever, watching your grandfather race in the sportsman class. But there's a big difference from sportsman racing, where the point is to race, to demolitions, where the point is to wreck. What do you remember? How did Lisa handle your start in demolitions as a teenager?
I actually remember this. They didn't want me to do it. They were like scared or whatever. And I remember I brought my first demo car home, and I got it all ready and everything. And like Mom, she's like, always nervous, still to this day, obviously, you know, like nervous for the races and stuff. But I remember I got the car all ready. We were going the next day, and I remember Mom saying to me, she said, "You know what? I'm proud of you because you said you were gonna do it, and you went and got the car and got it all ready, and you're going." And I remember her saying that she was proud of me. So that was 2005. I was only 15 years old. Yeah.
I don't even think, I think the current rules is you have to be 16, but I asked that, and you look now, Riley, at all the young kids in demolition. I think last year half the field was under the age of 25. Like we're seeing, there's been all this talk in the last decade of the youth movement in NASCAR and the youth movement in the pro stock ranks, and we're finally seeing that in the demolition division. You're not old, but you're almost the old guy out there on the track, and you're only 30 because there's so many young guys out there in the field. So what's it like seeing all these kids out there?
Well, for me, I think it's just great. Like I don't know, but for me, the more cars, the more fun. Like let's put on the best show possible. That's what it's all about for me. Like you hear that crowd going wild the other night when Norm Robichaud come through and Joey smoked him, man. That's it for me. But yeah, these young kids, like they're just come in and flooded the demo division. And I don't know where these guys are finding the cars, but they're showing up every single week. And I think it's just fantastic. And one of the highlights of my year last year was seeing when Riley McIntosh came in. I think he was like, I don't know, 16 years old. So I don't really know him, but he comes in, first demo ever. And walks away with $4,000 and a trophy that they couldn't figure out how to get it home. Like that was awesome. I love that, and these kids that are coming in, they're going to be the future of the sport. When I'm all done, I still want to go watch these things. So it's awesome. I think we're in good hands. Everything's going great, and Barry has everything dialed in, man. That was one of the best shows I've ever been to in my life there on Saturday.
I agree, Riley. I was sitting there. I don't think I could get the smile off my face. It was unbelievable. Like you said, hearing that crowd explode, and it wasn't, the biggest time was when Joey sent it through Norm's trailer, but there was lots of other points, including when you made the final hit, that crowd exploded, which was great to see. But I want to keep going back a little bit in your career to, I think it was either the year before or the year after Jason bought the track. You had a pretty good year. You won, I think, 2 demos that year. It was like 2011, 2012, something like that. Take us back to that year, because that was a pretty wild year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that year was there's only 3 demos that year, so we missed the first one. I don't think I even went, and then the second demo came along, and I had won my first demo in a 1995 Taurus wagon. So my dad somehow came across another one somewhere along the line. So this is 3 years later, and he surprised me with it. So I said, no way. So I got that ready. And then at the time, I was working with my cousin, Devin McKenzie, who would be Frank's grandson as well. And I was working with another guy named Brian Doyle. So we decided we're all going to go in the demo. I had the wagon, and then Devin had an old Ford Focus his father gave to him or something. And then me and Brian went half on a third car. So we landed down there and we brought all 3 cars. And I think the rad went in the wagon before it even got out there. Like, I don't even think I got out there that night in the number 1 car. I think the rad went. I decided I'll just bring it home, get a new rad. And then Devin, his rad went after the catch. So we were down to like 1 car instantly. Like after 1 race, we were down to the final car. So we raced that one. And I won the demo that night, and that was probably the most beat up car I ever won. And I remember I pulled up to the finish line after the checkered flag, and the gas tank fell off, and shut off. That was it. And I got pictures of that car, man. It's unbelievable. Like the back bumpers touching the passenger seat. And so we took those 3 cars, and then one of them won it. Next week we brought the other 2 back. And yeah, it was kind of the same deal. We went out, man, and we ran hard, and I got first that night, and then Devin got second. So out of those 3 cars, we got first, and second. So that was pretty cool. and then I never went back to the track for 6 years after that.
So I want to talk about you return in 2018, and what was it that brought you back in 2018 when you came back and got back into it?
Well, yeah, I did those demos in 2012, and then it was a lot different back then. It wasn't like it was right now. You know what I mean? It was kind of just not as much hype, not as much cars, and it just wasn't. I don't know. I just took a few years off, and then I had a couple cars for the 2013 season. I think it was 2013, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna go. Sold the 2 cars to I think Sean Muzzerall and Randy Dick. Randy Dick won the demo in my daily driver. That was his win. That was my car. And then so what got me back was in 2017. I went to watch the demo just as a fan, and I think it was 2017. It might have been 2016. 16 or 17, I go back to the track, and I'm sitting in the pits, and bag race starts. And I'm standing there, and Kevin Tucker's standing there, and I said, "You're not going to the bag race, Kev?" I said, "I don't got a partner." I said, "I'll go with you." So I jump in, went out the bag race with Kevin Tucker, and instantly hooked again. I think I had 3 cars there the next week for the demo or something. And we all went in, yeah.
So I want to ask you about one particular story around, that 17, 18, 16, somewhere around there. You had one time where I guess you and Barry had a little demo. You got into the Enforcer a little bit, maybe, something like that. How did that story go? It didn't quite end the way you wanted, but the fans sure enjoyed that one for sure.
Yeah, like this is the actual truth of this story. My trunk was beat up so bad you could not see out the back window. So you got to think about this from my point of view. I pull up to about where the pavement is and put it in reverse, and then just hit the gas. So you cannot see anything behind you. It's like closing your eyes. So apparently somewhere between the point where I put it in reverse, Barry got in between the car that I was going to hit. And yeah, I think I seen a video of it. I ended up destroying the body on the Enforcer, and back then they used to have a hardest hit award. I think it was like $100 or $150 or something they used to pay to whoever delivered the hardest hit in the final demo. So I remember after that, Sean Muzzerall come over to me in the pits, and he said, "Hey Riley," he said, "you got the hardest hit." I said, "Oh really?" He said, "Yeah, he forced you." So yeah, yeah, that was totally unintentional. I would never do that. So I know a lot of people thought that I did on purpose. I had people saying, "Man, that was awesome. That was so cool." And I just remember thinking, like, man, I hope Barry lets me back here next week, because I would never do that intentionally,
It's fun to look back on now and laugh about those little stories, but that's certainly a highlight that sticks out for a lot of people. We got to wrap up here soon, but I want to ask you, 2019, you came back and won 2 demos again. And 2 back-to-back. What was it like in 19 to get those big wins?
Oh man, like well, what happened there? Like I wasn't even going in the demo, but Matthew Sullivan had this Dodge Dakota truck lined up, and then he blew his knee out, so he couldn't drive, and he said, "Do you want to take it?" So I said, "Yeah." So me and Matt went over, got the truck, and just rigged it up, and we were just going for fun that night, really. Like, I remember we landed down there, and like, we never even had an extra tire or anything, you know what I mean? And went out, and yeah, we just raced. I remember that was my first tire race, and I thought that was so much fun. And then yeah, I just went out for the demo, and yeah, the Dakota was tough. I ended up winning that one. So then I had another truck lined up for the next demo, and I went to pick it up like a couple days before the Derby, and then it was Rad was junked. The truck was junked. I couldn't bring the truck. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to this one. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I remember I called Adam Floyd or something, and I was like, "Do you know where there's any cars?" And Adam had ran that whole year, and he had this whole car, and he did really good. I think he got like 6 podiums or something with his whole car, and it was still sitting down there. And he said, "Well, I got to work." He said, "You go get mine." So Adam, being the awesome guy that he is, I'm just joking. But yeah, no, Adam gave me the car, went there, and ended up winning the last demo of the year. I think that was a Halloween one. So yeah, it was just like a complete fluke. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, that was awesome.
Riley, we've talked a lot about demolitions, but not to be overlooked, you have a bomber car. We had Tyson Donovan on here earlier, winner of the bomber feature on Sunday. Tell us a bit about the bomber division and how you got involved in it, and what it's like out there with this new class that's really taken off.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to thank Tyson for his kind words, man. I really appreciate that, and feelings mutual. I known Tyson a long time. We used to play hockey together when we were kids, and yeah, we both at the track all the time. And yeah, he's a great guy, great competitor, and yeah, that was awesome on Saturday to see him get that feature because I know he's a big family guy too and got a lot of history there. So good for you, Tyson. Congratulations, buddy. And yeah, the bomber, it was a great race. The feature was wild. I started out the old car I got for the bombers now. It doesn't have enough horsepower. I can't keep up anymore. I'm gonna have to build a new car eventually. And yeah, I went out and I think I finished like 6th or 7th or something, which was about in mid pack because all these guys just kept dropping like flies, and it was just wild. I just kind of rode it out and see what happened. And yeah, it was great. It was a good time. We're having lots of fun. I know the bomber group chat, man, it's wild. Those guys are ruthless in there. we all have a lot of fun. They're all a bunch of great guys, and I got a lot of respect for them all. Yeah. And girls, I should say, because Sam, I don't want to say guys and girls.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw it over to Tim before we wrap up. Tim, how's social media looking?
Social media is a little bit busy. BJ Gillespie is actually trying to get to Matt Martin's for his interview, so we're going to come up to that in just a couple of moments, and that could be wild, boys. Strap in. I'm excited for what's coming up. Drop us a question, comment. I want to thank everybody for tuning in here this evening, whether you're on the Mary Machi page or you're on the Tim's Corner Motorsports page. It's been fun, and we'll continue on here. And Riley, congratulations on the win. First of many, I'm sure, coming up this season. What other event are you most excited for on the Mary Machi card? Because there's all kinds of big shows coming up here in the next coming couple of months.
Well, thank you very much, Tim. And it was great to see you back in Mary Machi, man. Love what you guys are doing, and it was really cool to sit down last evening and watch the broadcast of the show. It's kind of surreal going from first person to third person, and yeah, I just really enjoy John O'Shea's commentary and stuff. What I'm looking forward to this year is the Firecracker 50 for the Bombers, and then that weekend in October, the doubleheader Friday and Saturday. I'm looking forward to that, and I think we're doing 100 laps on Saturday or Friday, Denver. I don't know, you might know.
The 100 lapper is going to be the Spooktacular at the end of October for the Bomber. But,
oh, okay.
But there is 100 laps for street stocks, and I know you might have something potentially in the works for that. If there's any beans that you can spill, or we're just going to leave that as it is for now.
I never heard anything about that.
No, never heard nothing. All right. Firecracker 50, your grandfather Frank raced in that for many, many years. So, we talked to Tyson about, he grew up watching Kim Holohan race. Kim was basically an idol to him, and Kim has a win in that. I don't think Frank ever actually got the win in the Firecracker 50, but I know was close many times, and I don't think he would have ever missed one. What's it going to mean to be, it's kind of a different type of race. It's the Bomber division. It's not sportsman, but it's got that name and that history and prestige behind it. What's it going to mean to be a part of that show?
Oh, I think it's so cool because I remember the Firecracker 50, and I know I was like a young kid, but it was just like that name kind of always stuck with me. Like it was something that I recognized, and when that was announced, I just thought that was so cool, the kind of throwback, and yeah, I love that old stuff. I love throwback weekend at Darlington. That's what the vibe is I get from that. It's gonna feel like Darlington, so I might have to like get a mustache and a trucker hat or something. Maybe borrow Mike Goodell's overalls or something for that weekend.
That would be pretty awesome for sure. I want to talk to you before, this will probably be one of the final questions, but after Sunday, The trailer race was one of the headlining acts, and winning that puts you in a tie for third on the all-time demolition finale wins list with Robert Legier. And the only drivers you have left in front of you is Kevin Tucker and Brad McLean. That's a pretty good company, Riley. What does it mean to be, among some of the all-time greats of demolitions at Speedway Miramichi?
Well, it's kind of funny because, I guess I'm tied with Robert Legier now. And my very first ever demo, I was coming across the field and Robert Legier hit me wide open in a big Caprice and took me out. So I guess it's kind of full circle now. But yeah, that's really cool. I doubt I'll ever catch Kevin, but I don't know, one more to catch Brad, maybe someday, and that's pretty cool because Brad McLean's one of the guys I look up to, and he's one of the best racers ever stepped foot on that track, both in demo or the stock car. He's one of the few guys that really dominated in both. There's not many guys that dominated in both. And I'd just like to give a shout out to Bruce Hashey. I've been seeing him. I seen him at the track the other day. He congratulated me, so it was cool. I've been trying to get Bruce back in the car, man. He's one of the best to ever do it. So hopefully we can see Bruce Hashey back in the demo here someday.
That would be absolutely wild to have, guys like that. It'd be cool, Riley, if we ever, you look at the, top 20 demo drivers of all time, champions and wins and whatnot. If we could get all those guys back on the track, maybe even just for one more, that would be, I think, a memory we would never forget, and a demo that would be unforgettable as well. But we got Matt Martin waiting in the wings. He's got lots of fans waiting, and we can't wait to have Matt on. So Riley, we thank you for coming on today. But first, who you got to thank? Fans, sponsors, friends, crew, everyone. Who do you have to thank for the trailer race win, the bomber car? You pull double duty a lot of weeks. You definitely don't do it alone. So who do you got to thank?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my father, Eugene Harris. Couldn't do it without him. And my grandfather, Frank McKenzie. Could not be there every week with what I got. So to win that race on Father's Day was just a dream. It was so cool to get home and show Granddad my trophies on Father's Day, and for Dad, it just meant a lot to me. And it was also my girlfriend's birthday on Sunday, so that worked out good. Plus, Brandon McDonald, he was running the 31 car. He had to work on Saturday, couldn't make it, got rained out. So he said, I can make it now on Sunday. So we rug up his car. So I'd like to thank him. He gave me a hand. And Jonathan Dixon, he gave me 1/3 of my trailer. I think my trailer I bought a trailer and it wasn't good enough. So Jonathan had the right parts. So I couldn't do it without Johnny Dixon. Sponsors, I'd like to thank Alma Wedding Barn, History Mystery Mansion Escape Rooms, Vista Ridge Cottages, Keating's K2 Services, Jungle Gyms Miramichi, Scott and Amanda Cable. They do all kinds of stuff at the track. Jungle Gyms is a huge supporter. Who else? Fast Eddie Stewart, Stewart's Auto Body. We got Stevens Auto Repair, and just all my family, and got a lot of friends at Pit Crew. We got Bobby. Bobby's been a huge hand. Mackenzie, he's there. He's out at the car before I wake up on the race day. So yeah, just everyone. It takes a lot of help, and anyone I'm forgetting, thank you very much. Appreciate everything, and I couldn't do it alone.
Before we cut you loose, Riley, give us your best sales pitch. Someone who has never been to Speedway Miramichi before, July 10th, the next one, Bomber Firecracker 50 Demolition. Why should they make plans now to be in attendance?
It's going to be a full send situation.
Couldn't be said any better.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations on the big win. And, I know we could have went on all night. There's so many stories to share, and I'm sure we'll have you back on in the future. But, we'll see you on July 10th. Folks, that's Riley Harris, winner of the Figure 8 trailer race at Speedway Miramichi. And now we get to talk about fantasy points, and it's on the screen, and I am going to just say drop the mic. So Dylan and Tim, you can take over.
We're actually tied for second. Dylan, I don't know how that happened.
I'm better than you.
Oh, well, we're getting caught by Brittany and Meredith of all people. So we've got to pick up our socks here. I will tell you that we are for the third time, revisiting the Fredericton Gun Shop Sharpshooters Division, because it seems like every time we do this, it gets canceled, postponed, changed, whatever. So I got lazy today. I'm not going to lie. I got lazy. I changed the graphic. I changed one part of it. Paul put it on the screen. I put the date different. So it's still the same picks. I haven't asked the crew if they want to change or not, but if they do, best kind, it's up there on the screen. You saw it twice already on this show. We're going to see it a third. Me and Brittany have BJ Gillespie. Dylan, you have our next guest coming up.
I do. I've been watching him on TikTok getting this car ready.
We are going to talk TikTok, or you guys are going to talk TikTok in just a few moments. Meredith, speaking of TikTok, has Randy Titus for the weekend in Denver. You're still sticking with Brandon Young?
That's going to be the plan. Why, I've kind of made my bed the last two races. You can't abandon that now. You got to sleep in it. In Brandon Young head speed, I have faith. Roll the dice. I have the lead now. I can afford to gamble a little bit and shoot for the moon and hope we see a first-time winner.
I'm hoping we do too. So it's going to be a fun show coming up on Saturday here in the Gary Woods at Speedway 660. And you can make your selection starting tomorrow at timscorner.ca/fantasy picks. I've got a long laundry list of things to do here at the racetrack tomorrow. That is one of them. So starting tomorrow, and if you have the right prediction or you have the right pick, you at the end of the season could win a prize package courtesy of Tim's Corner Motorsports and our 10th anniversary season. Boys, this guy coming up needs absolutely no introduction. Driver of the number 33 sharpshooter here at Speedway 660 and the street stock and a little bit of everything that he does. I don't know if there's something that he doesn't do. We're going to talk TikTok in a bit. We're waiting for his audio actually to connect to the call so we can chat with the driver from just if I threw a stone, I could probably hit his place from Speedway 660. It's Matt Martin, and boys, we're waiting for the audio to connect. Until then, you guys can take it away.
I was watching him on TikTok earlier. Him and his buddy have been live on TikTok ever since we were live, and I know we're going to dive into that, Denver. Social media is such a big thing in 2021. I just started getting into TikTok recently. By the way, the Dylan Langell on TikTok. Give me a follow. Give me a heart. But that is the most popular social media platform right now, besides Facebook, I would say. The younger generation's getting into it. Now the older generations, I think, is really starting to discover TikTok. And the community on there with racing is getting pretty big, too. Are you a little familiar with that, Denver?
So Dylan, I don't have much experience with TikTok. Meredith used to use it, and then she stopped using it. I kind of forgot about it, pretended it didn't exist. But I got my introduction on Sunday because I'm getting ready for the race, and Meredith comes to me and says, "We're making a TikTok for the track." So Speedway Miramichi is now on TikTok, apparently. Meredith has done a phenomenal job with that, and I guess we have like 700 followers or something already. So that was my introduction.
Hey, Denver, it's only like, I think, Matt, how many followers do you have on TikTok?
30,000.5.
Okay, so Miramichi's got a little ways to go.
We got a little ways to go, but yeah.
Hop into my live, we'll get you there.
There we go. I think Meredith's asleep though. She's got to wake up and get on TikTok. She wants
the lights haven't flicked tonight.
The lights haven't flicked. You're right. They have not flicked yet. But let's dive into it, Matt. And again, Tim said no introduction needed. Welcome to the show. I don't know where we're going to start with this. There's a lot to go over, but I guess we're already on the TikTok. I think you're Atlantic Canada's most famous TikTok driver. So tell us a little bit about your journey on TikTok.
Man, it's just kind of funny, really. Like, it started out as a big joke. I was like, I'll put up a couple of race car videos. If we hit 1,000, it'd be cool if people could just sort of come and go, come watch us work on the race cars, see what we do to our race cars, see what the time we put in. This is my crew chief, Matt Richards. He puts up with all this. He puts up with the late hours. He puts up with the early mornings at the racetrack, and he's also on TikTok. He's crew chief Matt86 on the TikTok, so check him out. Yeah, man, we're having a lot of fun with it, really. And we hit 30,000 followers, and I was like, oh, man, the world's gone broke, and I've hit 30,000 followers on the TikTok.
Well, I remember in March when we did the winter demo at Speedway Miramichi, and you had a car there with, I think it was Tyler behind the wheel. And I remember someone sent me a link to one of your videos, and I look at it, and there's like, 15, 20,000 people watching. I'm like, oh my God, like that's totally incredible, and that's great what you're doing, spreading the word about the sport of racing and really getting more people into it.
I joke about the 1,000 followers thing, but like I've got 15 people right now that I've met from off of TikTok that either, well, they will come on a regular basis to the racetrack. So like that, and that was my mission. Like, can we get more people back to the racetrack off of this crazy, stupid little app? And we did. And like, I was able to launch my clothing line on the TikTok and make a good go of it over the winter. And my fan base is like, I've got people from Alabama. My boy Tommy's watching. Tommy, what up, baby? I've just met so many amazing people. And like last year we had a hard time with the racing, not just with the COVID, but my brother-in-law had actually passed. There's a story to this, so just tag along with me here. My brother-in-law passed away a year and a half ago. So when he passed away, it was in his tow truck. So he actually got inducted into the World Tow Truck Hall of Fame for fallen drivers. So through the miracle of TikTok, I met Tommy, and Tommy's uncle actually runs the International Tow Truck Museum in Chattanooga, where we have to go and get Steven inducted. So it's a really small world how the TikTok thing works out. So I've made some really awesome friends, really cool connections, and very blessed to meet the people that I have.
Matt, I got a question about growing that. And I gave you a follow when I joined TikTok. You were one of the first accounts I had to give a follow because I knew that you were on TikTok. Did it take a little while to get the momentum, or did it just kind of happen overnight with your account?
It started out as a joke, and we were playing bingo one night, and I started out at like the night we started playing bingo, I was at 1,500 followers. I was like, that's funny. We hit 1,500 awful quick. After bingo, I was at like 6,800 or something. And it just, over 3 or 4 days, it just pop, blew up. Just over a couple of stupid videos. Just dumb videos. And it's just, but I enjoy it. Like, I like to feel like I'm a funny person. So it's a great way to express yourself.
Well, and you're doing a lot of the stitching now, too. It's not just race car stuff. You are kind of dabbling in the comedy stuff, too.
Yeah, there's just some stuff that needs to be said, and there's some funny things that happen on the TikTok, and sometimes a good comment can make it really go good. So I like throwing my 2 cents worth in where I can, whether it's racing or a good joke. So,
like I said, Denver, more people they're discovering. I think there was kind of a stigma with TikTok. It's for kids. It's for little kids. Why would I get on that? But it's becoming the most popular social media platform now.
Well, didn't Donald Trump want to ban it at one point or something like that?
It was banned.
Uncle Donald's just crazy. That's all.
Okay, so now that we have Joe Biden, it's TikTok is acceptable. It's accepted. Is that how this works? I'm still new to this.
Ryan Vargas had the car.
Politics on here. I don't think a lot of people want to hear what I have to say.
Ryan Vargas had the car in the Xfinity series. He got the TikTok sponsorship last year.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was pretty awesome.
Let's get down to business, because it's been a long month since we last seen cars on the track at Speedway 660. First of all, let's go back to the Riverview Ford Lincoln season opener. It was, I guess, an interesting race for the sharpshooter division. Lots of rookies in the class, and the way it's taken off was pretty incredible. It's, I think you guys got like 40, 50 registered. Opening day, a little rough, few cautions and whatnot, but you had a pretty good run that day. So Riverview Ford Lincoln season opener, looking back on it a month later, what are your thoughts on that?
I really hate COVID, and I'm really just over it. And my fiance really puts up with a lot with the racing and stuff. Like, I also have a street stock that I'm turning into a wagon right now. That's just going to be a greasy looking unit here soon. And like, we're really close to having it done. So I haven't been doing many videos about it, because the next time everyone sees it, they're going to be like, wow, it's greasy, but that looks cool. And that's all I'm shooting for. But she puts up with this, and she puts up with me going to the track every weekend. And I can't thank her enough. Before we go any further, I need to make sure she gets her 10 seconds there, because she really puts up with a lot, and us doing our racing and hanging out in the garage and working all night and all that. So, yeah, so that's it for that one.
So let's look ahead. You guys got the next race coming up this weekend. Back on track. Are you excited to get back on the track at Speedway 660 under the lights? I might add at on Saturday night.
I cannot tell you how excited. Like I wasn't, but now I'm like, all right. The season opener was a long time ago, and I don't really like talking about the season opener because it's just such a bummer, man. Like we had such an awesome start. Me and BJ finished first and second. Don't know if BJ made it or not, but I'm still always got a little piece of BJ carrying along here. So, anyways, yeah, no, we had wicked run there, finished 1-2, and the car, man, we started out. We have this new G5 that we're running this year. What a unit! Even when I went through tech, Donnie was like, Matt, I did not expect to see any cobalts in here, period, this year. And I was like, Donnie, buddy, come on. We knew that Matt Martin Blue was going to roll through here. Anyways, we had a good laugh about it. And, yeah, like this weekend, I think, I've had a couple sponsors come on, so I was able to buy some new tires. The car's really reactive to new tires. So I'm hoping with what the weather's saying, and we got a little bit of rain here yesterday, so there's nothing I love more than a little bit of a green track. 3 days. I got this period of 3 days before the race, and then a little bit of sun on top of it to cook it in. Usually makes for a wicked sticky track at Gary, so I'm pretty pumped to get back this weekend. Me and Matt have been working stupid hard on the car. Like we should have been working on the street stock some more than what we have, but we're so excited to just build a brand new car, take it out, and man, we ran with BJ Gillespie. Like BJ told me he was worried at one point because he could see blue dots, and I was like, man, if my crankshaft sensor wouldn't have been bad and I could have had that car working good, I think I would have had something for BJ. Like, and that was my goal this year. Like, I was like, I want to build a car that can either run with or beat BJ. Like, that was and like, me and him are friends off the track, and I tell him all the time, like, man, my goal is to beat you this year, like, every year. It hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. I'll get it sometime. And I think this might be the key to the question.
I think that's everyone's goal right now is to beat that 69 car because it's been really fast lately, but you've got a couple wins yourself over the years. But to get back to victory lane, what would that mean for you?
A lot. It would mean a lot. Like I'd really like. There's nothing better than working on the car for a whole week and frustrating yourself and going to the track and getting the podium and getting that trophy, man. I could give a crap about the money they pay out at the end of the week. You give me that big trophy, I'm out. We're back at the garage drinking. Like we don't stick around to the track or nothing. Like we get our trophy, we go celebrate at the shop.
See what's busted. See what we gotta fix.
Yeah.
Tim, how are you doing over there? I'm sure social media is ablaze right now.
I am sure it is. Let me go take a look. Tommy and the whole crew is over here. Jade and Morgan and Brandon Campbell's over here. I don't know what kind of crew he's a part of. Yeah. So Brandon says that Matt told me he was going to put blue paint on my bumper. Unfortunately, I didn't even make a lap. So Matt, what kind of advice can you give to a guy that can't seem to get his car working? Can you give him any words of encouragement for these upcoming races?
This is a pretty tight racing community. So if anyone out there right now has a distributor for our buddy Brandon Campbell, check him out on Facebook, and he's on the TikTok. Make sure you check him out on the TikTok. And make sure if you have a distributor, you get a hold of him, see if we can get him running. That's what our race family, man, like, and I can't preach it enough. Like the brotherhood and the camaraderie that comes with racing is just, and the family atmosphere that comes along with it is nothing like you'll ever experience. Like I've met so many awesome people over the years, and I've known some of these people for like 20, 25 years, like as long as the track's been open kind of deal. And it's, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of the relationships that I do. So yeah, that's a big part of it.
Lisa Harris. Lisa Harris.
Brandon, we need to get him on the track.
Well, he needs to get a couple of laps in at least, because I know that's what he's lacking. He's done every job, I think, this year except for actual a race car, but he'll get there eventually. We kid because we care. Lisa Harris does awesome show. Sunday was one of the best days at the racetrack, and a big shout out to the number one driver and the number one flag man, Denver. I know Lisa was at the last race last October. She clearly didn't see Brittany Flag. That was a wonderful experience. Dylan Story, Matt wants to know what's the story behind your Matt Martin Blue.
I tried it out last year. I really liked it, and I wasn't really a fan of the light on top, so I was like, she needs to be all Matt Martin Blue. And then we were in a driver's meeting last year, and Scott Kenny had brought up that I had touched about 8 or 9 too many cars that evening, and that too many of the drivers were complaining about Matt Martin Blue on their car, and I sort of chuckled and walked away. I was like, Matt Martin Blue, I've made it.
That's not going away.
So that just sort of stuck, and Scott Kenny sort of started the Matt Martin Blue thing by saying, hey, you got to calm her down a bit there, bud. And here we are, Matt Martin bluing it up all over the place.
Randy Titus says it's going to be busy coming from the back this weekend, because I think he was on the podium with you guys, so he's going to have to come from the back as well. With the I don't want to say lack of discipline from some of the drivers, but you guys had that race shortened the first race. But now that you have to start in the back, any game plan going ahead here?
3 wide into 1. You know what my game plan is, Tim Terry.
Wouldn't expect any different. I'll leave you with this one. We're live and interactive here. Paul, our producer, says we can go just a little bit overtime here tonight. I got to find a place somewhere in the campground to stay, so we'll figure that out in a bit. But BJ Gillespie wants to know, what's it going to take to beat him this weekend?
A good run and no rookies record in front of us.
And maybe a couple of those 3 wide moves to get to the front.
I think it's going to be a very, very exciting weekend at the racetrack. And if anyone watching's never been to the racetrack, this is going to be a hell of a weekend to show up and make it your first one, I promise. So I definitely make that trip out this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a full card of racing. The pro. If you missed it earlier, by the way, surprise! The pro stocks are running 100 laps this weekend. The Atlantic Modified Tour is going to be here with the Brent Enterprises 35. The Fredericton Gun Shop Sharpshooters. You guys always put on one of the best shows of the card, and you come up first. It's going to be one to watch. The street stocks are now on the card, presented by DMR Auto, and the Sportsman also on as well. You can listen to live audio. We hope, knock on wood, everything test-wise has gone well tonight. So timscorner.ca/listen live, and you'll be able to see the video on demand on Sunday. And we give Mr. Brandon Campbell a little bit of grief, but because he's driving a Honda and he's not here this weekend, Denver and Dylan, he is going to be pushing the buttons on the TCM TV production. So we kid because we care. I just don't want to step over the border. You guys go ahead and
Getting scared that you're not going to have a producer for the show. You
Well,
just don't.
For those that don't know, Wade is not with us this weekend, so I'm actually stepping into Wade's shoes. Denver is stepping into a modified crew role with Chris Wilson. So the 2 producers that usually carry this thing are either in the tower doing other things or in the pits. So I told Brandon Campbell we would take it easy on them, but Matt, if you guys are planning on going 3 wide on lap number 1, I think him and John Forsythe are going to be busy.
That's my plan. Man, if there's anything, them cheating Hondas, Brandon, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like if there's anything I love more is pumping up the jam before I go to the track, and there's nothing I love more. Be like, hey everyone, I'm going 3 wide off the hop to the whole group and walking away. That's my favorite thing to do.
And we've seen that a couple times before, to say the least.
Yeah, at least once.
So, Matt, let's kind of take a step back. I want to talk about the start of your career. How did you get your start into racing?
This is going to be maybe an unbelievable story for some people, but me and Brian Suddy actually built our first car together. And he slapped the wall with it in Miramichi, and then we took it to Shediac, and that was sort of that. And then life sort of happened. Just everyone got married, had kids, young families, just sort of got away from it. And then when my oldest daughter was like 5, I bought a car then, and my dad sponsored into it then, and we had a really good little fast Neon. And BJ's on his way. I don't know how much longer we can keep this going, but my wife just texted me and said BJ's on his way, so I'm not sure we got the time, Tim Terry, but BJ's a coming. Anyways, where were we at? Sorry, I got sidetracked there.
We were talking. You said anyways,
me and Brian, we got married, all that. I bought the Neon. I went out with the Neon the first year, sort of got my feet wet with the fast car. that I didn't really have before. So I was sort of really my first year of learning. And then the second year with the Neon, I got 2 seconds, and I won the Gunslinger, what would be the Gunslinger 50 that year. I've got 3 trophies from the 50 lappers, so I've podiumed 3 of the 50 lappers. I usually run top 5, like not to be cocky or arrogant or anything, but like I've really got my setups and stuff down, and I've really got good with. I don't know what happened this year. I don't know if it's from being in the street stock last year that I've learned to hook this outside line that we've gained at the racetrack. But man, even last weekend going up against Randy Titus, our last weekend out, I could pull on Randy through the turn, not even coming up the turn. And like to have a fast car like that's pretty neat. So I've never had a fast car like that where I could hook the outside line and be like, hey, we're gonna peace out and go here. And like I caught BJ a little bit, and like he was like, man, I was kind of getting nervous at the end of it, and I was like, well, that's good, because it's kind of cool to have BJ say that. 'Cause me and him have been friends a long time, but he's been racing a lot longer than I have. So I got a lot of respect for BJ. He's a good kid. So to have someone like that we can go out and sort of joke around and race together each weekend, and our girlfriends are both nurses together, so like our group's really good and compatible too. So it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Now, Matt, I want to talk about that first win that you got in the sharpshooter. And if I remember correctly, that was, I guess, the Night of Champions one year. I remember there was a lot of emotion from that victory, getting that first win. Take us back. What do you remember, and what did that first win mean to you?
You try so hard for so many years to get that. Like, you can get as many second places as you want, but until you actually like get that first place trophy, and now I've got like 3 of them under my belt, so like, and I'm pretty honored to say that. Like, there's still a lot of good names around. Like, I've even heard rumors that Luke McLaughlin's building a 4-cylinder. So how cool would that be for me to be like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I raced Luke McLaughlin in the 4-cylinder class, like that. You know what I mean? Sort of like. And like Kyle McKinnon, I know he's in the street stock now, but like when we were in 4-cylinder and stuff together, me, him, Matt Crocker, like we used to have so much fun that year, and just there's so much emotion tied into it because you have guys like Kyle coming up to you after that first big win, and like, man, you did it! Like you finally pulled one out of the race suit, you got your big win, like, and like I went to high school, like I know these guys a long time, so like. When you have guys that you've had that friendship with for that long come up to you and start pumping your ego like that, like, man, you did it. Like you did a really good job. Like, means a lot as a racer. And I feel like that's a turning point where you can start moving forward. And that's sort of why I bought the street stock, just because I was like, oh, whatever, it's a good deal. And everyone wants a street stock. So here we are, street stock.
Before we start talking a little more about that street stock, there's one more thing I kind of want to touch on, and that's Kids Day. If I'm not mistaken, I think you won a race on Kids Day one year, and Kids Day is one of the bigger days of the year in terms of a regular race at Speedway 660. There's always so many people at the track. It's always packed. You have the autograph session in the pits, and the kids get to come into the pits, and the candy dash and whatnot. It's always it's a big day, and you scored a win on that one year. What's it like to get that Kids Day win? Because it's all, like you said, it's all about family, all about fans, and nothing gets better than having all the kids in the stands.
No, that's it. And it's not like I have me and my fiance have 3 kids. Like I have 3 kids of my own, and so for like the kid side of it, through the racing is a big thing for us. Like the family side of it, like we try to keep it as family as much as we can. Like just the kids are involved with it. They come out and paint the cars. They come out and help put stickers on. They help get the trailer ready to go on the weekend. Like we just try and make it a family thing as often and as much as we can. Like and the other thing with kids is, man, they're the future of our sport. I'm literally living my 5-year-old inner kid's dream right now. I'm looking at both my race cars while I'm on Tim's Corner doing an interview, like living every little 5-year-old kid's dream. Like, I'm going to own a race car someday and I'm going to do cool interviews. Like, I'm doing it. It happened. So like, it's just, I just have a lot of fun with it, man. Really, to be honest with you, I just enjoy all of it.
Dylan, I'm gonna throw the floor over to you for a minute. What do you have to throw at our TikTok star himself and the sharpshooter star from Speedway 660, Matt Martin?
Well, I just threw your crew chief a follow on TikTok.
Appreciate it, brother.
No problem, man. I guess I'll ask the crew chief a question. How is it working on this car and then also having the following as well on TikTok?
It was kind of funny at first. Like, I remember just after Christmas, we wouldn't do a hard lockdown, so we hadn't really had time to work on the car together, and we'd come over and chat and catch up. So I think I was here the day he was talking about earlier when they were playing bingo, and he was on the live talking to some guys like, joking about like every time Matt Martin says, add another follow, we'll all laugh about it, right? And then throw something in the comments. And that was at like 1,500. And then, we did a bit of work on the car, getting ready for the first race. And, 2 weeks later, it was just, a double, triple. It was nuts. So it's weird. It's kind of fun to be able to, to be working around and you got people in the comments talking and asking questions about the car and helping, you know what I mean? Like the community does.
Yeah. Yeah, we've run into issues where we've been live and been like, I'll go live if I'm having an issue and be like, hey, the car's spitting and sputtering when we give it gas, when we let off, it's idle and fine kind of deal. And you might get 13 different answers, but one of them might work.
Yeah.
And a couple of times now, it's just pulled us out of some big messes. So
it's interesting. I was really glad to jump on with Matt and give me the opportunity to come help out with a race car. Like I always had her since I was a little kid, ripping by the Gary Speedway and the old Enduros and stuff. So the opportunity is a blast.
BJ, can you grab me a blue freeze out of the fridge?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I guess before we dive into BJ, crew chief Matt, any ambitions to maybe get some racing in soon, or are you just going to stay behind the scenes?
These guys let us buy these cars and it could be an expensive hobby. And, I think my hobby is more or less like, I like the idea of racing, but I really like the turning wrenches much more. You know what I mean? So for me, like getting to the track, Matt get tied up with somebody and something breaks and comes up and just solving that problem, getting back out, on the lead lap. Like that's what I kind of really enjoy more than the racing itself.
Hey, we need crew chiefs behind the scenes, right?
Hey, brother.
For sure. Denver, we got a third guest here all of a sudden.
We do have a third guest. Where do we start? Is it do we call him Bucket? What is it? Throttlefoot Jr.? Like there's so many nicknames here for BJ, but
Throttlefoot for sure. I went pretty fast to get here.
Well, I imagine you went pretty fast on Sunday because you were among the drivers that pulled a double header. Tell us a little bit about Sunday because you came to Miramichi, you won the heat race, had a fun battle in the feature and drove back to second and then loaded up and beat it to Petty Raceway.
Yeah, it was fun to get to Miramichi more than once a year because it's a fun little track. So, and to go against some Hondas, that's even funner to stay ahead of them. So you got to build a fast car to do that, but we just driving fast.
So I want to know who won the race down Highway 126 en route to Petty. Which one of you three, Neil, Rob, and yourself, who won the race down the 126?
Well, Rob was gone before we got out of victory lane. But and Neil, I led Neil the whole way there, and he passed me at the gas station. But Petty waited on the green flag for me to get on the track, I guess. But that was a good go if the motor wasn't going south.
So motor going south, is there going to be any changes before this weekend? There's a big race at Speedway 660, your home track. Are you going to send it or are you going to make some repairs or a change?
Yeah, I've got a fresh engine for the 660 now. You got to keep going fast. And we'll give them a go starting at the back.
But you got to go faster than that guy in the middle because apparently he's out to beat you. That's his goal.
There's a lot of talk of people wanting to beat me and what I got, but really, everybody's got to get something else. I don't know.
This guy's got to make it through lap traffic first. See what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend, man. It's going to be fun. It'll be a shit show.
Tim, I see lots of comments coming in on social media. I'm going to let you pick this up for a minute because it's blowing up with the addition of number 69, BJ Gillespie.
Yeah, BJ, welcome to the party.
Awesome.
Mark Kingston's looking for a crew chief, by the way. If anybody knows a crew chief that wants to help out a pretty damn good bomber driver at that, he's looking for a crew chief. Riley Harris, Matt wants to know, he saw your colors on a 66 car at the winter demo. What was the story behind that?
The young fella that lives next door, young Tyler, or Maliking there, he said he wanted to go racing. I was like, find this little 5-speed, and he did. He found his little Kia Rio, and we painted it flat black. We put some Matt Martin blue 66s on it because 66 is double the trouble of 33, and we loaded her up in the middle of a snowstorm, and we pounded her over to Miramichi, and I think Tyler finished 5th or 6th. So, like, really proud of him for his first time going out, and we just like our racing, man. It's a bad problem, bad habit. And, yeah, and, like, to be able to go over and support Miramichi when there wasn't much going on, and to have a guy like Barry open that up for us and be able to go over, man, a winter demo, that was so friggin' fun. Like, we had such a blast. It was just a good day for it. Just everything about it was just wicked. So thanks to Barry and his crew for putting that on.
They just had a figure 8 trailer race. Would that interest you to ever get in a figure 8 trailer race?
Nope.
Okay. quick and to the point. I like the answer. I'm going to get Paul to try to pop up our fantasy picks for the week once again, because this kind of goes into what Brandon Campbell has asked. BJ, Brittany has picked the bucket for this weekend to win the race. Brandon Campbell wants to know if we ever are going to see the bucket again, get back on the top of that 69 car.
And I'll screw her on this weekend if the track allows me to. Sure.
I'll have a little conversation with Donnie. How about that?
Just for the heat race anyways. That's all the bet was for the fella I got the bucket from. Just one race.
And well, you put a bucket on and there was a tornado that hit Victory Lane. So I don't know if that was the voodoo or whatever you want to call it, but
yeah.
Listen, Tim, Barry let someone put a trailer hitch on the front of the car and haul it around the trailer race backwards. So I'm pretty sure we would have no problem letting buckets on cars in Miramichi.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, I don't think we're hauling trailers here this weekend, but I could be wrong. So we might be okay on that. Brandon Campbell, if I'll fail him in tech if the bucket doesn't come back. So he's only doing pre-tech, so you're fine post-tech. Just put it on when you go out for the feature in Miramichi. Randy Titus says minus a transponder, BJ.
Yeah, Wayne just called me for a transponder about jumping on the track and petty, and if I gave it back to him, but he just called me and I said I had to give it back to one of the track staffs, but hopefully they find it.
There you go. If you have a question or a comment, we're going a little over time tonight, but this has been fun. We've got about, I think, 10, 15 minutes or so left, so be sure to drop us a question or a comment for the boys over there. A stone's throw away from where we are right now at Speedway 660. Dylan, Denver, I'll hand it back to you.
Dylan,
Wish I could be there. Wish I could be there. I mean, I'm stuck in Nova Scotia right now. I'm so jealous. I'm hearing all about this racing here on Saturday. Matt, BJ, I mean, you're talking about this big race. I guess we'll start with you, BJ. What are your expectations for this upcoming weekend?
Stay out of trouble. Hopefully there's a lot of green flag laps, really, because it's no fun when you get a caution every lap. So if everybody keeps on the track, it'll be a good race.
So for someone watching who may have no idea what you're talking about, that first sharpshooter race was kind of a rough one with a lot of yellow flags. What happened during that race?
Well, I've seen a lot of the pace truck, really. I've seen his side mirror light come on quite a few times there. I was trying to pass the pace truck quite a bit, but there was just a lot of rookies, I guess, a lot of new people starting this year, and they, I don't know how to say it.
We got some teachings that needs to be done.
Yeah. We'll answer it, yeah.
And man, like, to any of the rookie drivers watching, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to come over and ask us. If you have a question at the track, like, you think it's going to improve your day, come over and ask. That's what it's all about. So,
do you think that's what it is, boys? That just the rookies are maybe a little shy to go talk to a veteran driver and say, hey, how do you really get around here? How do I avoid spinning out? How do I avoid even just getting in the turn too hot?
Well, it is a beginner class. They say it is, or yeah, it's supposed to be a beginner class. So we got to give the beginners some credit for wanting to get out there. So
Listen, my first time in a 4-cylinder, I slammed the wall of Miramichi coming out of 4. I can't say anything to anybody. Like you got to get in, you got to get in. And part of my heart's like, hey, Matt, they got to get in the car and they got to get some laps. And then the other part where me and BJ are out front, we're like, hey, you guys really need to pull your stuff together because we got some stuff to do here, like racing. And it didn't happen. It was just really frustrating. So hopefully we can I know everyone's saying we got to come from the middle because we got to start in front of the rookies or whatever. But boys, that's a challenge I'm willing to take up. 3 wide into 1, baby. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, there was a lot of rookies in that race.
There was more rookies than regular drivers.
So I mean, I don't think it'll be out. You don't see that all the time, right? Having 1, 2, 3 rookies isn't so bad. I mean, that was different, right? So I think guys learn. It is what it is, right?
But I think it's great that we have that car cam.
Yeah.
There's so many goods in. I'm not going to call them bad. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just there's really good things that are coming out of it. Our numbers are going up, and we're going to have guys like young Steven Rose that's in the car right now. Like that kid's only 14, and if you watch his practice laps, he actually does an immaculate job handling them turns and stuff and getting back into the throttle and just there's the people forget that it's more than just hopping in and driving. You got to get a feel for the track. You got to get used to what's going to be good for you. If you're not used to running with a pack of cars, it can get a little nerve wracking too, right? So there's a couple different factors that go into it. So
let's talk about big threats besides you two, BJ and Matt, for this weekend. Another driver in the sharpshooter division. Who should the fans keep an eye on? Who do you think's going to be battling up front with you?
Darren Wilcox.
Yeah, he found something in Petty. He was awful fast, but
Dan Adio's quick too.
The Randy Titus. Yeah,
and Titus and the old Lightning 75 machine.
You always see that Lightning machine.
The only dodge out there is pretty quick.
Yeah, Randy's really, I don't know what he found in that little car, but he's found something his last 4 or 5 races. He's done really well with it. So you definitely got to give credit where it's due in our division too. When guys are doing good, you got to give them that pump up, man. And Randy's been at it a long time too. So for him to start having some good runs, although I'm sorry, Randy, for carrying you halfway up the backstretch on the season opener.
Denver, we got some heavy hitters, it sounds like, for the sharpshooter race.
Well, I'm really excited for this one, Dylan, and it's going to be definitely a blast. And, this is just the start of the season, boys. You look down the schedule, there's, the Gunslinger Speed Weekend. There's some big races coming up, and I know, BJ, the Gunslinger for you maybe last year was, we talked about races that got away. That might be one that got away from you. What are you guys looking forward to with those big races coming down the pipeline?
A lot more patience. Yeah. The flagman will let you know how many laps are left, I guess, to give you more patience, but it's you just got to be there.
What about you, Matt?
Patience. I just I like myself personally, I like the big races because I can plan it out a little bit more, you know what I mean? Especially where we got all these rookies, it's my favorite. It makes you think. You got to think on your go. And man, I'll tell you right now, if we get 4 or 5 laps straight going green, it's going to be lead pack cars just passing and picking off friggin' lap cars, and it's my favorite, and I can't friggin' wait.
I think that's kind of what stands out to me from the Saturday show at Speed Weekend last year. There was 30 cars they started, and by about the 5th lap, you had the Hondas, you had the sharpshooter cars battling for the lead, and you guys were going 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I think there was 5 wide at one point, working through the lap traffic, and it was really incredible to watch. And as the car counts grow this year, and they're expecting over 30 cars, I'm sure we will see that again. But what's it like being in the car working through all that lap traffic when it's kind of like rush hour on a highway, but except you're going a lot faster.
It's like you're going on your first date and she already told you were getting a kiss. I don't know how to explain that anymore. But that's exactly what it's like going through lap traffic. You got to get there and you got to make the point happen. That's it.
Matt, I kind of want to ask you, you touched about the street stock, the Ricky Bobby race last year. That we talk about big races, that has really taken on a life of its own at Speedway 660, and you got to be a part of that last year. What did that mean to be a part of that Ricky Bobby 150?
That was really cool. I get to learn a lot personally as a driver. Like I said, I've learned things in the street stock that I've been able to take over to the 4-cylinder. And I've had a lot of people be like, you either got to pick one or the other, but I don't want to. I want to do both of them. I'm going to do both of them. I don't have a lot of fun with it.
That's what it's all about, eh? It's all about having that fun.
Man, I cannot express how much fun me and BJ have on Saturday. I don't know, but I'm speaking for myself. I don't know. Maybe BJ doesn't have fun. Maybe I'm the only one having fun. I don't know. I have a goddamn blast on my race day. And I know BJ's going to be there. And me and BJ got our little thing that we do. We're going shake and bake to the front. So, it's just my favorite thing in the world, man. I love my race, and I love having, you have that one friend that you can go out on the track with, and, you guys do good together, man. Me and BJ have finished 1-2 more times than I can shake stick at. I don't know how many times we celebrated trophies together. It's just a fun thing to do with your friends, man. Go win trophies and go home and go back to the shop and celebrate it. It's just, again, the friendship, the camaraderie, the good times at the track, man, you just can't beat it. And having the fan following that I've got off of TikTok, and like I said, I've got 15 or 20 new people that are coming to the racetrack this weekend that have never been to the racetrack before. And I'm not it's not looking for credit or anything like that, man. I love racing, and the only way to save racing in the land of Canada is to tell your friends, make sure your cousin's coming from wherever, Bucktoosh or wherever they're coming from, make sure they come to the track. If they're coming down for a barbecue, take them to the track too. It's so much fun. And the first time you get to see someone get a little bit of Matt Martin blue, you're hooked.
I'm going to throw it over to Tim for a last call on social. Tim, how you making out there in the tower?
Yeah, we're going to do our last call on social media. Randy Titus says, LOL, all good. I'm used to being bumped around, Matt.
In all fairness, I kept it straight and didn't spin either one of us out, so I sort of give myself a pat on the back on that one.
That's called talent.
All right, well, maybe I'm starting to get some of that then.
Well, I think you have a little bit between the two of you in the driver's seat sitting there. I think there's a little bit of talent there. But once again, last call on social. It's starting to get a little bit late here in the tower, so drop us a question, drop us a comment in the next couple of moments, and I will remind you as well that if you missed tonight's show or you want to go back and relive it, obviously you can on Facebook with the video, but we're also on your favorite podcast platform. That'll be up tomorrow at some point because it's on the long laundry list of things to do here at Speedway 660. So, boys, back to you. We'll give these folks on social media a couple more moments, and then we'll start wrapping.
Dylan, before I go any further, anything you would like to add to the conversation? Any questions you'd like to ask for these two as we head into the Saturday night show at Speedway 660?
Yeah, I want to ask something about Matt. I know it could be a little bit of a touchy subject. It's about street stock racing, but it's what you did last year at Petty, I remember, during the Mike Stevens weekend when you donned the 71 number for your friend Chris Hanley. How special was that for you?
I don't think a lot of people understood how tight me and Chris were getting at the track. He's most the reason I wanted to turn into a wagon, because I kept joking. I was like, man, that'd be so cool if I got to beat you in a wagon. And we just kept joking about me beating him in a wagon. I was like, one of these times my wagon's just going to come up and you're just going to get Matt Martin blued. And it was really an honor to be able to go out and just to have his number down there, really. We went down right after he had passed, and we did some really greasy burnouts, me and his dad out in the street with Darren Wilcox, and we just burned $2,000 worth of tires down. It was a really, really cool memorial. Crew Chief Matt was down there with us. It was, man, I can't, if you didn't know Chris Hanley, I can't tell you what a kind-hearted soul that fellow was, man. He was, like one of the best at the track, man. He'd give you his left leg if you needed it to make sure that you were going out on that track, but like he'd do everything in his power to make sure that you made it out on the track, or best of his knowledge, whatever, man. And just the kindest hearted soul you'd ever meet in your life. Like quiet, kept to himself, and he's definitely missed at the track every weekend, and no different than Ricky Bobby and us being able to celebrate Ricky Bobby with Ricky Bobby 150, man. He was such a big influence on the track through every division, not just the 4-cylinder division or whatever. And even young Ricky, like he's had a big impact on the track as well. Like he's been in the picture for so long, and we miss everyone at the track that's not there anymore. And hopefully all the families are doing well, and hopefully everyone's getting back to the track. Jonathan actually came back in the 71. Really exciting, man. That's it's great to see that racing family. And again, I can't preach racing family enough. They're a racing family, and they knew that Chris would want them back to the track. And I wasn't sure if they were going to or not, but Mike loaded it on, and Mike and Jonathan both put the car down and practiced it, and they were comfortable with it. And just to see Steve and Lisa and just everybody at the track again was just it's just good to see everyone back at the track enjoying what they love, even though we don't have the big guy with us. The big guy's looking down and keeping everyone safe. So it's yeah, it was a real honor to be able to do that, and just show some respect for our big buddy for sure.
So we're gonna start to wrap this up now.
Darn.
I know. Tim said, listen, if you can convince Tim Terry to stick around, we can keep going. But
I'm 6 minutes from Tim Terry. I might just hop in the truck and go down and hang out with Tim for a bit.
I think, Tim needs some blue freezes, I think.
I actually just had a visit from Max Roy. He was telling me where I was staying. So I think we're good to go on that. He said we can go a little bit longer, but look at that. I don't have my camera on, but Kayla Burkhardt actually gave me a koozie earlier tonight. So BJ, do you have any of those left over? Because I mean, I could use one of those this weekend.
I sure do. Fresh off the press.
They're quality. They keep your drink and beverages mighty fine cold. It stays right in the truck because you never know what kind of situation you're going to get. Darts and beer holder in the truck at all times.
So does it come with the blue freeze?
Green, orange, or blue?
Sometimes BJ brings them, sometimes he doesn't. It just depends on the evening, really.
And it doesn't matter what color, BJ, as long as it's got that 69 on it. I think we're good to go, right?
Yeah, perfect. Crew chief makes them.
I want to ask you, Matt, about the Short Track Nation stuff, because I know this COVID deal hasn't been very kind to my complex figure, so mine's a little bit small. But tell the folks about the Short Track Nation stuff.
I started the Short Track Nation thing, and I just want to get the word out about racing in Atlantic Canada again. And for guys down in the States, my good friend Joe Chariot, he's watching from the States. Older gentleman down there, he drives a open wheel modified kart that does like 100 mile an hour, like this crazy little unit. Anyways, I've grabbed this fan base all over, and over the winter I was able to keep busy with my clothing line, and it really just took off again. So message me your size, Tim Terry, and I'll get you a t-shirt for the weekend.
Fairly big, tent size is probably the best. I think I'm still.
Man, listen, all jokes aside about the weight thing, I went to put on my race suit this summer, and at one point I was going to ask Crew Chief Matt to come over and help me pull them up, and I ended up cutting the zip ties that I had holding my Velcro together because my Velcro was unvelcroed and everything just didn't fit. So the winter was rough to everybody, buddy. So don't take her to heart.
I hear you. We got a TCM shirt we can probably trade you on Saturday. By the way, for those that are watching, we have the TCM shirts here at Speedway 660. They'll be in the office on Saturday. So if you want to get one of those Tim's Corner 10th anniversary shirts, you can do so on the weekend. But yeah, this has been fun. Brandon Campbell
says, I wanted to come down and get one right now. Is that a possibility?
I don't know where. I think they're locked in the office, so that's probably a no. Unless you can find a key. I think Max and them were getting ready to go to bed, so I think that's probably why he was up here telling me where I'm going after tonight. So
I think I'll get one on race day. They them shirts put you in victory lane, don't they?
Absolutely, they do. But you know what? I'm sure we're going to have a party at some point, boys, because I'm locked up here until, by the sounds of it, Dylan, it's Wednesday, next Wednesday. Is that what we're being told?
June 30th, unless we change our mind again.
Yeah, we could change our mind in 5 hours and not be able to go back across the border. But love the Nova Scotia government, by the way.
Yeah, they're doing a great job right now, standing out. But yeah, just a great bunch.
Yeah, and by the way, Jason Pickles did message me a little bit earlier on that he's coming up. He's coming up for work. He's coming to Speedway 660 for the first time. He races a 4-cylinder car at Scotia Speed World, and I told him, I said, you may as well hop a microphone and come join me on the call. So excited to have Jason Pickles come up and be a part of the show as well. So once again, this has been fun, boys. Since I'm up here until Wednesday, I'm sure there's going to be a party or two and a couple of blue freezes being drank. But this has been. Yeah, this has been an absolute blast. Denver, Dylan, I'll leave it to you to end this one off. And actually, well, Paul, I see Paul already has it on the screen. We want to thank our marketing partners for being a part of this evening's event and all the stuff that we do here on Tim's Corner Motorsports. Want to remind you as well that coming up on Saturday, we do not have live video. We are planning on having live audio. So if you want to listen from home and you cannot be at the racetrack, timscorner.ca/listen live. The best way to live this event coming up on Saturday is to be at Speedway 660. But if you're locked out of the province or can't get in or have to go back in quarantine or what have you, you can do so. And you can find the video on demand coming up on timscorner.tv beginning on Sunday. Boys, this has been fun. I want to thank everybody for being a part of this. We're going to go drink some blue freezes. I'm out of beer. I got to go find a place to stay. Denver, Dylan, this has been a blast. Denver, we will see you on the weekend. Dylan, we'll see you when we see you. Maybe next Wednesday. Maybe.
I haven't seen you since the winter, Tim. We need to hug each other. We got a vaccine each. We're good.
Yep. Scotia Speed World's opening July 2nd, so hopefully we can get down there and have some fun with that. Want to thank Paul Strickland Jr. from Vidane TV for putting this show on. This has been great. Want to thank Tyson Donovan and, of course, Riley Harris for being a part of the show from Speedway Mayor Machine. That's going to do it. I want to thank everybody for being a part of it. Matt, BJ, Matt, the boys, everybody over there. My name is Tim Terry. We'll see you Saturday night when we say let's go racing at Speedway 660. Until then, keep the hammer down. We'll see you at the track.